We're just going to take a few minutes here, let some people join up. Then we'll get started. We'll give it like 2 or 3 minutes, let people join. Zach and I can go share it on our Facebooks and Twitter real quick. Zach, you got it going live on YouTube as well?
Live on YouTube and Facebook.
All right, I'll go. Since no one's in here yet, I'll go tweet out the link on Twitter. Like I said, we're just going to take a few minutes, let some people join in.
Taking questions encouraged. So whoever's got questions out there, whoever's got surprise picks, put them in.
Yeah. Help us break
question or topic or whatever it is up, and we'll gladly discuss it. It's going to be an exciting draft.
Just tweeted it out.
To start off, Nick, big question of the night, in my personal opinion. Where do you think Justin Fields is going to land?
I'm thinking someone trades up to that Carolina spot, to be honest with you. Matt Rule wants those extra picks, and I know from watching the ESPN a little bit that they're looking at some of the corners, they're looking at some of the tackles. Kind of looks like they may be going the build around Sam Darnold route. It depends. If a good enough quarterback drops to them, I know they really like Fields and Lance, so we'll see what happens. But I think in the end, the Patriots just offer too much. They trade out. And the New England Patriots' new starting quarterback, Justin Fields.
Could we say our first in a very long time in-division trade? In my mock draft, I had the Miami Dolphins giving the Patriots the 6th overall pick.
We could 100%.
It seems very unlikely. It seems very unlikely for a team to trade, obviously knowing that the Patriots are looking for a quarterback, if they're making a trade up for that. It seems very unlikely a team in their division would make a move like that. But the Dolphins have been exploring trading out, and if the Patriots offer the right things, it could very well happen.
I mean, when it comes to the draft, man, anything can happen. Teams are trying to move, and sometimes you got to dance with the devil a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just to get what you want.
Three quarterbacks who guaranteed to be off the board with the first 3 picks. The Patriots seem like they need to turn the pivot to a new quarterback, and Cam Newton would be the perfect quarterback to have bridge and groom an athletic quarterback if Justin Fields were to be there, or for whatever reason Trey Lance were to be there. So if they were to move up into the top 10 to draft, they would have to probably give up a lot, but it seems like it's the right move for the franchise. They're already really aggressive in the offseason this year, so you might as well turn the corner on quarterback too.
No, I agree.
Quarterback on the season like Cam Newton had last year passing-wise. I understand that he had some production rushing-wise, but passing-wise, he was horrendous.
I think the re-signing of Cam was just a formality, just in case this draft doesn't go the way they want it. And I think the best thing for them to do is look towards the future, right? I mean, you have Bill Belichick, who probably going to coach till he dies. I mean, let's be honest. He just the previous year, lost the best quarterback and the only quarterback that he really ever had in Tom Brady, who pretty much took them to the promised land. So why not start again? Why not go after a guy like Justin Fields? You're up there in the picks anyways to begin with. You have the capital to move up. You bring in the new kid. You train him up. I mean, you'll never forget about Tom Brady, but if you can replicate some success like you've dominated the early 2000s, bring in a guy like Justin Fields who fits the new era of quarterbacks that we're having in this NFL, the quick, can run, can get out of the pocket, the new era, like Patty Mahomes pretty much. So why not go for it? Why not make that trade? And I think they're going to trade up. And if they don't, I'd be extremely shocked to see them not trade up. I feel like in the second round, I have a pretty good feeling that Kyle Trask may not be there by the time they go to pick in the second round if they stay still. And then after that, it's really.
I also think that's a big time drop off, though. So
It is. I mean, it is.
Quarterbacks, even from Mac Jones, who I'm not high on at all. I don't think Mac Jones should even be considered for the third overall pick whatsoever. I actually don't even have him as one of my top prospects. He's like one of the outside the top 25 prospects for me. I think he's going to be a good quarterback, but compared to these other guys, I just don't see how that he matches up. And I really don't understand how, if you look at today's prototype at quarterback, like we talked about on our last podcast, if you look at today's prototype at quarterback, how could you not be considering Justin Fields for that third overall pick if you're the San Francisco 49ers? And I think there is a chance he still gets drafted there tonight.
Oh, I know you're hoping he gets drafted there.
I know. I'm not even just saying that. I think there is a chance. I think Trey Lance most likely is the pick, but to me, Justin Fields, I just don't know how you can't even consider him at the third overall pick, and especially over Mac Jones, who everybody wants to make the argument about Shanahan having this style of quarterback and having success in the past with these style quarterbacks and how Mac Jones aligns with that. But he never had the resources or the assets to coach a quarterback that was like an athletic guy like Trey Lance or Justin Fields. So I can't see the 49ers tonight taking Mac Jones whatsoever. And there's a lot of hype that was around that. And
that was just smoke. I mean, that was obviously smoke. I see Mac Jones going within the 20 to 32 range. Someone really wants him. Maybe they trade back up.
You think he's fallen that far? I think he still is going to go pretty high just because the demand on quarterbacks. So
maybe. Go ahead. Finish your point.
So maybe, I don't know, like depending on what the back end of the draft looks like, and we know how valuable that fifth-year option is. Could we see 6 quarterbacks drafted and a high riser?
The only team that would take Kyle Trask, who I believe is the first quarterback on the outside. Because I think David Mills is still a third-round pick. I like the guy. I like what he can do, but I still think he's in the third round. The only team
Some people are really high on Kellen Mond. I don't see him. There's no chance he goes first round, but he's definitely worth a flyer at some point for a team. I personally don't like him, but there's definitely going to be a team that's going to draft him at some point after the other quarterbacks, obviously, the first 6 or 7 go.
But look, like I was saying, the only team that I could see doing that is the New Orleans Saints taking a risk and taking Trask at the end of the first round. Like I said, I don't see that happening. And
the Saints were trying to trade up in the top 10 today.
That's not. I can't see. They're not one of the teams that I can picture ended up getting that, because this year, you couldn't re-sign guys because of COVID. The salary cap dropped. These picks are so important to hit on because of what we went through last year. I can't see a team like the Panthers or the Broncos trading back to 20. Like, you're going to have to get a king's ransom this year, more than you've gotten in the past, to move into the top 10. It just – I don't see it happening at all. I don't see it happening at all. And to answer your Mac Jones question, I like the Bears as an option. The dark horse candidate, I like the Vikings as an option as well.
I actually do like the Vikings as well too, because I mean, obviously the Kirk Cousins comparison, he's a lot younger and cheaper. So,
but I think Minnesota
correctly has 1 year left on like a $32 million contract. So,
I think Minnesota's pretty much a lock to take Vera Tucker. Honestly, I think he's going to be the best.
Yeah, that's who I mock to them, but.
And our buddy Sean.
You definitely have to think about it, and it definitely would be worth a discussion for them to think about it. But personally, I just don't like Mac Jones.
I don't know anybody who does actually like him. Like, he's obviously the 4th best quarterback, or the 5th best quarterback, and he's going to go early because of the desperate need for quarterback in the league. To me, to me, he screams kind of like a guy like Josh Rosen. I know Josh Rosen got the short end of the stick in a lot of his situations, but going into that draft, the last time I remember five good quarterbacks that all had hype around them, Baker, Josh Allen, etc. Josh Rosen was number 5 for me, and a lot of people argued that. A lot of people had him at 3. A couple people had him at 1. But this is where I see Mac Jones. Mac Jones is that 5th guy. He is that 5th guy, and he will go because of the demand for quarterbacks in this league. And I think the best situation for Mac actually is to go in the later round of the draft where he can sit behind a guy just like, well, I don't want to say like Jordan Love because we don't know what's going to happen with that after the breaking news, Aaron Rodgers being unhappy today. But I think a good situation for Mac would be to go to a team with an established quarterback, maybe an older guy like a Ben Roethlisberger, and sit behind a guy for a year or two. Kirk Cousins, that experience looks like it's going to be coming to an end soon. I don't see that. They're a dark horse, but I don't see him pulling the trigger. Or
I don't see the steer. I don't see him falling that far as much as I don't like him.
No, he doesn't make it past Chicago.
I also, on the other hand, don't think the Steelers, if they did like Mac Jones, would move up to go get him because of the resources that they've already been using with their draft picks.
Yeah, if Chicago
pick for Minka Fitzpatrick, they traded up for Devin Bush a couple years back. They just have done too many trades like that. It might just forge too much of their resources and assets to do that again.
But we got the countdown going on. But I think if the Bears pass on him though, Zach, honestly, if the Bears pass on him, we could see a Brady Quinn type situation. This man may fall, and he may fall.
Brady Quinn. Why you got to bring that up on me? Brady Quinn.
Because he was supposed to
go
that's
like
early.
My favorite player of all time.
Yeah, he was supposed to go early. They kept showing
not
him
my favorite
every
player
time
of all
a team.
But I growing up being a Notre Dame fan, I was a big Brady Quinn fan, and
they brought the Goodell chair out.
I was close to becoming to rooting for the Browns, but I talked myself out of it, and
smart decision.
End of story, because the Browns had no success during my childhood, so it wouldn't have
I just want to, Zach, real quick, I just want to throw this out there. Anybody who sees Sean Redden on the advertisement, Sean is busy at the moment. We're expecting him somewhere around the 9:10 to 9:30 area. He'll be joining us. He'll be hopping on. So Sean Redden will be here a little later. He's got something going on at the moment, but he said he'll try to get on around the 9 o'clock hour. So until then, you're stuck with me and Zach and his unsportsmanlike content hat, rocking the brand right there for the brand.
There it is.
Look at that.
You can get some more hats made if anybody wants them. So just message us.
It is a nice hat.
Get after it. I like the color scheme a lot. Does it symbolize something like it looks like the New Orleans Saints?
I think it just looks like your boy's a good graphic designer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
I just got a memory on Facebook. We made that logo last year. This time, today, we made that logo. So
that's the anniversary,
the 1-year anniversary of the new logo. And who's Roger Goodell on stage with? Right, I love that they brought his chair from last year's draft is on stage. That's hysterical. But I'm trying to see who's up there with him. Is that Jarvis Landry on the left?
Jarvis Landry. Who's that?
I don't have the volume on at the moment, so I can't tell. Is that Urlacher on the right?
No. Is it? No, that's not him.
I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit. One of them's got to be a Cleveland dude. It wouldn't make sense. Yeah, if anybody can't watch a draft, you're stuck at work or TV ain't working. Or
hop on Facebook. Let me grab my charger real quick for my laptop. That would definitely be.
Zach is unprepared. Yeah. Jesus. So hang with us, guys. I mean, you can't watch the draft. We're going to talk about every pick. We'd love for you guys to comment. Anybody watching right now, comment. What do you think is going to happen? What's your wild prediction that no one else sees that you see happening? Put it up on the show for you. Zach will put it on the show when he gets back from finding wherever his charger is. And, we'll debate. We'll debate all night. Me personally, I think a surprise pick, even though I said he's going to drop, watch out for them Denver Broncos. Watch out for them Denver Broncos. There may be a quarterback in their future. I know they're a heavy defensive team, but I wouldn't be surprised if Denver Broncos went out and got a quarterback, another one after the Bridgewater trade. And then tomorrow, the second round, Drew Lock's on the trading block. So we'll see what happens.
I was never a Drew Lock believer, and people were hating on me, thinking I was being biased.
We're in the same boat. Still trying to figure out who this dude is. So they're letting a fan sit in his chair during the pick. That's pretty cool, I guess. So it looks like...
How long does it take for this pick to come in? This is consensus. Trevor Lawrence has been regarded as the number one overall pick and known to be the number one overall pick pretty much since he stepped foot on a college football field and won 2 games.
If they're smart, they'll put it in at 904 because that's the area code for Jacksonville. If they take all 10 minutes, I'm going to jump off a bridge. I really am. Come on,
There's
guys.
no way they're taking all 10 minutes. We all know what's about to happen right here.
They're already calling him.
The betting odds, Trevor Lawrence minus 50,000 to be the first overall pick.
Can I put $1 on Zach Wilson?
Yeah. I had to.
No, I
Justin
would.
Fields was being considered was the third highest odds to be the third overall pick, but he has the third highest odds to be the third overall pick. The logic doesn't add up here. We got to find an in between.
So we're on the clock. Jaguars on the clock. Got about 9 minutes left. They better not use it all. This is a weird graphic they're going with right now, but Urban Meyer in a suit jumping in a pool.
So we were talking about Mac Jones earlier. We were talking about where Justin Fields would go. Quickly, where would you rank all these quarterbacks 1 through 5 that are likely, almost guaranteed to go in the first round? Where would you rank them?
Start from the bottom. 5, Mac. Be a little surprised here. 4, Zach Wilson. 3, Justin Fields. 2, Trey Lance. 1, Trevor Lawrence.
But do you think the Jets are making the right pick at 2, taking Zach Wilson, if you think Trey Lance is the second overall prospect at the quarterback position?
Do I think they're making the right pick? No, but they already sold it on the fan base. It's pretty much been announced. I got a couple Jets fans living in the PA area. You've run into a few Jets fans, and they're hyped. They're excited for him. I think he's going to be good. But, Zach, me and you have had this conversation many times. I am not big on one-year wonders. You need more years to prove to me. Zach Wilson, to me, is a one-year wonder. I mean, we'll see what happens. It took me a while to
I mean, there's 2 ways to look at it here. There's 2 ways to look at it. If you look at it as he's just hitting his stride now and he's about to blossom and he's really taking the next step to the top tier, because a lot of people like to use that argument about the one-year wonders, but sometimes it's just not the case, and there's different cases for obviously every person that comes into the draft in all different sports. But some people just hitting their stride and just really start progressing and evolving at a certain point in time, and they just start climbing the ladder. And that could be Zach Wilson because he seems uber talented.
No, I think Zach Wilson's
has all the tools.
Going to have a nice career. I think Trey Lance is going to be better, though. I really enjoy Trey Lance. I'm very high on him. He'd be my QB number 1.
Trey Lance, if he goes to the 49ers, which a lot of people think and is the betting odds too, he's going into a lot better of a situation. The 49ers are a team that could, even with a rookie quarterback, go deep into the NFC playoffs this year.
He's going to have the most early success. Whoever goes to San Fran is going to have the most early success.
I think if you take Justin Fields, he's the most pro-ready right now. That's just how I feel. I think Trey Lance could be a really good quarterback, but right now, if you're looking for an option that's going to take you over the leaps and bounds, and Kyle Shanahan loves to run the football, and why not get a quarterback that can run the football? Trey Lance can obviously do it, but Justin Fields can do it just as well too. People are saying like leaps and bounds that Trey Lance is like a better runner than Justin Fields. I don't believe that. I don't think it's leaps and bounds. I think Trey Lance is definitely a really good prospect, but just personally, just what I've seen from Justin Fields, he's just getting disrespected, and he's the right pick to make.
Now I know, like I said, I'm not big on 1 year wonders, but with Justin Fields, he's been a big prospect who got stuck behind other guys who are currently in the NFL right now.
Yeah,
He was
but
well recruited out of high school.
unjustifiably.
Yeah, no,
That
there's
Georgia team is 10 times better with the freshman. That Georgia team is 10 times better with freshman Justin Fields than junior or senior Jake Fromm, whatever it was at the time. You know how
yeah,
much I didn't like Jake Fromm. There was arguments with me last year, people trying to tell me that he was going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Have you heard a peep from Jake Fromm, anything about him since he's gotten drafted?
no, I heard about him. He's
He's on
now he's still
is he on the Buffalo Bills still?
he's now a third stringer behind Mitchell Trubisky. That's what I know about Jake Fromm.
Exactly, yeah. Mitch Trubisky. They signed Mitch Trubisky. So they obviously, Jake Fromm is nowhere near to starting.
No, no.
Nowhere near.
If we're
So the
looking at
Georgia situation was different. And I don't think – I think he should have started. I said it since day one. He should have started at Georgia. He was the number one overall prospect coming out of high school. He should have started from day one. And he transferred to Ohio State, and you saw what he did at Ohio State. He definitely proved himself.
they showed a Dwayne Haskins highlight. That was weird. I mean, they're already showing a highlight.
So we're looking
package
at Trevor Lawrence. We obviously know Trevor Lawrence is the pick here.
Yeah, they're showing
We're getting some glimpses of
picks.
Trevor Lawrence highlight tape. Anybody that's in here, also Nick.
Look,
where do you think Travis Etienne's going?
I do not think
running back.
It's the first round.
Even you think he's going first round? Which team would you think he would be going to?
Round.
Not first round?
No.
Do you think there will be a running back drafted in the first round?
Yes.
Najee Harris?
To Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's like a pretty much a lock.
Even though
where they're going to be at the value they can get, they obviously love big running backs like that. So I like Travis Etienne personally a little bit better, but Najee Harris is definitely a perfect fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Especially 100%. The fills a big hole for them, too.
Like I said on the previous show, the James Conner experiment didn't work out, but they have Benny Snell and McFarland Jr. to be the quick, small, short backs. They need a power back. They've always had success with power backs, from Deuce Staley to Willie Parker to just all around Jerome Bettis. Just big running backs know how to play in Pittsburgh, and that's why it's Harris. Even though Etienne is the better running back and he's higher on my board, it's going to be Harris.
I like Etienne. I like Etienne personally going to the Buffalo Bills potentially at pick 30.
There's a possibility. I don't know where they go. They might go corner if there's a good enough corner.
You go tight end potentially.
Yeah,
maybe forcing the issue at tight end. Maybe the Penn State tight end.
In our mock draft, I said Pat Fairmouth, however you say it, to them at 30. Wouldn't be surprised if it was Brevin Jordan from Miami either. I just think Pat.
I don't think Brevin Jordan would go first. I don't really even think I would warrant with all the players defensively that are going to get pushed back. I think there's going to be a run on defenders, and the more likely situation is ETN would go before another tight end would go. Personally, that's how I feel.
I mean, he's a good running back. He's going to go between 33 and 45. You know what I mean? So we'll see. They're really going to use all 10 minutes here, aren't they?
Pick is in. If this is anything other than Trevor Lawrence, I think this might be one of the most stunning moments in sports history. But
you'll see me leave. I'll leave, bro. I
don't know what it would be. They're showing Byron Leftwich, 7th overall pick. Blaine Gabbert, horrific pick. But he's getting Super Bowl rings, backing up the go right now. Blake Bortles, another bad one. It's good to see, but honestly, just as a fan of the NFL, it's good to see the Jacksonville Jaguars getting an opportunity like this.
Okay,
to draft somebody that is a secured lock as to be a good player.
You are a couple seconds ahead of me. So once we get to pick 3, you're not going to be able to say who the pick is. because
Oh,
you are ahead of me at the moment.
if you don't think there's going to be a live reaction to pick 3, you're
You
insane.
can give a reaction, just don't say who it is, because I can tell you're ahead of me. Because you said Peyton Manning, and
You
then I know
know
Peyton
what
Manning
my
must be
you
5
know
seconds
who's going
later.
to be if through the reaction though.
If there's a lot of excitement, I know who it is.
Trevor Lawrence going to be a really good NFL player.
You
He's
tell
almost
me. You
locked.
tell me when they announce it, and I'll tell you when they announce it on mine. Tell me when you see Goodell start talking into the mic. So we'll see if we're ahead
He
of
is
each
right
other.
now.
Okay, you're ahead of me. He hasn't talked yet. He still hasn't talked yet.
Yes, sir. Trevor Lawrence.
Oh my God, you're way ahead of me. He just started talking right now. Wow. Can you imagine if someone bet $100 on Zach Wilson? It was Zach Wilson. Congratulations on your tax-free contract.
Player comparison for Trevor Lawrence. Who do you think Trevor Lawrence reminds you of as a player?
I don't know, man. He's so unique, honestly.
Is he like a more athletic like Peyton Manning?
Maybe. I mean,
he looks like he has the same movement. He's just more athletic. The same type of build, the same type
he's
of
got the build.
mannerisms in the pocket.
He's got the build. He's got the frame.
But he's white. Like this play that they're showing right now, the Ohio State playoff touchdown on 75 yards, that solidified him as the number 1 overall pick 2 years before the draft. That when you knew Trevor Lawrence, it was like he was going to be up there as either 1 or 2 as the top prospects at quarterback. Once he's outrunning Ohio State defensive backs that are going first round every year in the NFL draft, you knew it was over. You knew that he was solidifying himself as an
I
alpha
still
dog.
haven't made it to a highlight tape for him. Oh, hi, dude. Yeah, thanks for visiting. Go ahead, hop on the mic. There you go. That was my cat, in case you were wondering what the giant tail was. So Zach Wilson's there. Is that his? Can't tell if that's his girl or his mom.
That's his mom.
He's hugging somebody. Yeah, she's already got the.
So the Jaguars, obviously, we crossed them off the board. We knew what this pick was going to be.
And we know this
one. Jets, we almost positively know what the Jets pick is going to be, too. I think we would say there's a 98% lock.
We're just
Zach Wilson. Right there's a possible chance. I think, do you think they're considering Trey Lance or Justin Fields right now?
I think. Oh, okay. I'll get that fixed. I think
you have to at some point consider it.
I think that's already passed. I think they have, and I think they went to all the pro days, and I think their mind is 100% me. But since you asked me this question, I'll ask you: what's your player comparison for a guy like Zach Wilson?
Zach Wilson? I think Zach Wilson is what people thought. I said this before. What people thought Johnny Manziel was, and he has the type of ability.
How about this one? How about Steve Young?
Steve Young, but right now it's hard to compare two people that just don't throw with the same hand.
I get it. But think of their play style. Think of their mannerisms. Think of how they are in the pocket.
I think Steve Young is a lot more of a pure runner. Zach Wilson's athletic, but he moves around to make throws. So kind of like Aaron Rodgers, but doesn't have the same frame as Aaron Rodgers. He reminds me a lot of what a lot of people thought Johnny Manziel can do. And Zach Wilson, like you said, he was a high riser in the draft. Draft stock wise, over the past year, he was probably the highest riser of any person. Actually, guaranteed the highest riser. He's going second overall in the draft. We knew Like we said, Trevor Lawrence was going to go first overall. So Zach Wilson's stock has risen the most out of any single player in the entire draft. This entire draft. And there's no guarantee for him to be the right option here at number 2. But I do think he has the traits and the abilities, but it's going to be dependent on what the Jets get around him to surround him, because we've seen what happens to Jets quarterbacks that don't get surrounded with the right pieces. And it seems like the past couple quarterbacks that they drafted high, whether it was Mark Sanchez or Sam Darnold, just weren't surrounded and they were off the team in a very short period of time.
Right. I just got a great text. It says Zach Wilson is the name of an MLB pitcher, not the name of a quarterback.
It does sound like a MLB pitcher.
It does. It does, man. He should be starting for the Braves right now.
What's your favorite name in this draft or name in this first round of guys that are being considered in the first round?
I like Kwity Paye.
Kwity Paye? That's a very interesting name.
Great name.
Elijah Vera Tucker's another good one.
J.C. Horn, how it's spelled.
J.C. Horn. Yeah.
I like that. It's a good name.
There's also J.C. Horn, talking about J.C. Horn. There's a lot of players that are top flight players, top tier players, upper echelon players in this draft that have had fathers playing in the NFL as well.
Yeah, a lot. The top 3 corners in the draft, in my opinion. Asante Samuel Jr., obviously, Asante Samuel.
You put him that high, he could possibly be a high riser if we're talking about a team like the Buffalo Bills, looking for a cornerback to pair with Tre'Davious White.
Buffalo Bills need size for a corner. I'm sold on that.
I think they just need anybody to put next to Tre'Davious White, and
their safeties saved them last year. They need a dude who's lengthy.
Sides against the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, they need a guy who's lengthy to play on the opposite side of Tre'Davious White.
That's another team that has an interesting pick, is 16 overall with the Arizona Cardinals. They might be able to take BPA. It could be Caleb Farley. They do need another corner to replace Patrick Peterson, and it is a risk with the injury history, but if he pans out, he's going to be a top flight player. And all these corners at the top end of the draft, it's so interesting. They're so intriguing, the top 3 corners. In my opinion, Caleb Farley. I have Asante Samuel Jr. as the 4th corner. I have Caleb Farley, 3. I have J.C. Horn, number 1, and Patrick Surtain, number 2. And they all have great size. Great size.
I'm worried about Farley's back.
It's definitely something that you could be concerned about. There's some teams that have taken him completely off the board. There's some teams that have left him there like he's the same healthy player and are trusting it and just like the upside of the player so much. And there's other teams that are kind of going with the situation that we've seen with guys like Miles Jack, Jalen Smith, Sidney Jones, where they have talent, but they're not going to go in the first round like they were expected to before.
I would take Greg Newsome II over Caleb Farley right now.
I disagree. I think the upside of Caleb Farley is a lot higher than Greg Newsome II, even though Greg Newsome could be going around that range too. He could be going to the Buffalo Bills. In my mock draft, I had the Ravens trading one of the picks that they now owned, the 27th pick that was actually theirs before, and holding on to the 31st pick that they got from the Chiefs in the trade of Orlando Brown. If you listen to the podcast last week, the mock draft we did, I mentioned that trade, and then it happened 12 hours later. So I had them keeping the 31st pick that they got from the Kansas City Chiefs and moving the 27th pick that they owned up to get a quarterback or to get a wide receiver, and the Tennessee Titans moving back to the 27th pick. So the Tennessee Titans could be in play for a cornerback there. I also had the Washington football team leaping in front of all their other NFC East foes to jump to number 9 with the Denver Broncos. And here's why. I think the Denver Broncos value defense a lot, and they would like to get a linebacker. And if they could add more assets and trade back and get a guy like Zevin Collins at 19, moving back with the Washington football team comes up and maybe they draft Mac Jones or whatever quarterback's there. If Justin Fields, for whatever reason, gets disrespected to there, we'll see. But It'd be interesting.
Absolutely. It's interesting. I mean, right now we got, for me, how much time do you have left on the 49ers pick?
There is no time left. Saying selection in.
Okay, mine says 6:17. So if you could wait till you see my face reaction before you announce the pick, I would appreciate it greatly. I don't know why you were so far ahead of me, but you were very far ahead of me.
Yeah, I'm watching the highlight tape right now. I mean, we don't really have to keep this one a secret. We all know who the pick is.
I'm going to refresh it. Maybe I'll catch up to you.
NFL Network broadcast giving comparisons to.
Is that who you're on? You're on NFL Network?
Yeah, they're giving comparisons to Joe Burrow and Russell Wilson. I don't know if I really see that. I see a little bit of Joe Burrow-ish, but just the frame's just a lot different. Zach Wilson's just not as big as these guys, so it's hard to. I mean, Russell Wilson is obviously smaller, but to compare him to Joe Burrow, he doesn't have the same frame, so it's hard to see him the same style of player, in my opinion.
Are you an NFL Network or an ESPN guy?
It honestly doesn't matter. It depends on what channel I want to switch the ESPN broadcast, see what's going on over there. Okay.
Interesting. Pretty obvious. Pretty obvious pick.
That was almost as obvious as the Trevor Lawrence pick. Just not minus 50,000.
Watching a Zach Wilson interview right now on NFL Network. Oh, dude, this kid looks like he's should be working at the beach, bro. Oh my god, this guy's young. Is he young or am I just getting older?
You got some young players in this draft. Penny Sewell, 20 years old. Kyle Pitts, still 20 years old. That's freakish. Kyle Pitts still being 20 years old.
Anyone get caught smoking a bong this year?
Nah, no Laramie Tunsil situations. But Laramie Tunsil, there's a funny meme that we might post on the UC account. He put up, it was on his account, a statue of him out front of the Dolphins stadium for what he netted them in that draft.
That was a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I saw that. Was funny.
That is a haul. The Texans are in a horrific spot. That would be probably the most interesting, somewhat realistic, but absolutely crazy thing that could happen. The Texans swoop in out of nowhere to come get a quarterback and are completely done with Deshaun Watson. And I don't even know if that ruins Deshaun Watson's trade value.
It does. He would have been gone by now.
We'll see. His situation is obviously very interesting to see how it plays out. It doesn't look good, but.
So when are they going to announce this pick? They're going to let the 10 minutes go through too, huh? I got 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock till the pick has to be in. Has there ever been a team that missed a pick?
This is probably going to hold the keys to the draft. Do you think the Falcons go quarterback here if the right quarterback is there for them? Or do you think it's locked in Kyle Pitts? You got to take the value of Kyle Pitts.
I think it's BPA. It has to be. Atlanta's, even though they have a new GM, they're not afraid to trade up. I mean, you've seen the 3 picks for Julio. So if there's a quarterback, and I think there could be 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round next year. I think Atlanta's all right. I think they can hold off. Give Matt Ryan one more hurrah.
Julio Jones, Kyle Pitts, Calvin Ridley, maybe back end. It seems like they could be back to back end. Give Todd Gurley a contract later back on
I
and bring him
think
back.
something that's interesting for tomorrow is Julio Jones for a 2nd round pick.
If he gets traded now, it's a huge dead cap hit. I just think that's an idiotic even thing to think about. Especially if you're going to draft Kyle Pitts, you just roll the dice, take Kyle Pitts, you put them all out there. Kyle Pitts can be Julio Jones' eventual replacement, but he's also going to be lining up at the tight end position too. So it's not like
100%.
they're clogging up each other's space on the football field, and also going to be able to have Calvin Ridley eating. That offense could be really deadly, and that offense could be deadly to the point where they're back in the mix as a playoff team. They need to find a legit ball carrier, running back,
Yep.
possibly with the 2nd round pick. They could get some value there, but maybe, like I said, bring back Todd Gurley for another stint. But to complete that offense, get a nice run game, and get the play action going for Matt Ryan.
Here we go. Goodell is walking onto the stage.
Okay.
Here we go. All right, that was obvious.
So we have another North Dakota State quarterback going in the top 3 of the draft. We'll see how this one pans out. We know how the last one panned out. So we shall see.
Oh, he is at the draft too. Okay, nice.
Trey Lance has a lot of ability.
Look at this next gen stats, bro. Looking like Madden. They're giving Trey Lance an 85 overall and athleticism of 88. He did opt out of the spring season because AA and 1AA decided to wait until after the majority of COVID passed. He did sit out the whole spring, but he did play one game in the fall. Apparently, that does not matter because he's going 3. He's gonna he's in the best situation right now. I mean, there's no way around it. There's no way about it. He is in the best situation right now. Who is number 49 on the Niners? Or is that a personal jersey? So QB Trey Lance goes number 3. Extremely athletic.
We'll see if he's ready to start. He's definitely extremely athletic.
I
People
like
are
that
talking about
comparison.
him potentially as the 2nd overall pick at the start of this year, but he only played one college game this year because of his season being postponed and everything. So
I love the
comes from a
who they
great
compared him
program,
to.
the best one to play program there is. So we shall see. But like I said, we saw what happened with the last North Dakota State quarterback, and the jury might not be out on him. He's in a new situation, but it's more so about the team and what the 49ers gave up. The Eagles gave up a lot to go get Carson Wentz coming out of North Dakota State. I don't know if you can really even compare them. Completely different playing style players. They come from the same school, but they play completely different. So Trey Lance might not have the top end experience, and that might be the issue. So that might be the one thing holding him back. But it looks like he has the tools and the traits to be a really successful quarterback in today's NFL.
I like this kid, man. He's going to do good things. He's going to do good things for them. That number 5 is an ugly number on them jerseys, bro.
Come on, let's go to the wall.
So up next, we got the Atlanta Falcons at 4. This, I know Zach said that the Niners have the keys to the draft. This is the keys to the draft. The quarterback goes here, panic's going to start, trade ups are going to happen. Wide receiver, tight end goes here.
Justin Fields could go here. We're talking about a Georgia kid.
So, yeah, so
it's definitely would not be crazy for Justin Fields to go at this point.
It's everything right now. To me, this is it right here. This is where it's going to be. This is how the draft's going to shake out. Panic will start after this pick. Mark my words.
What's your go-to snack for an event like this, Nick? A big sporting event like this?
Well, usually get myself some pizza, some wings, but I don't feel like doing any of that today. So
I'm talking just plain pizza.
Right now, I'm rocking the sunflower seeds. I ate dinner early. I didn't have lunch today, so I came home.
I've been watching some baseball recently. The sunflower seeds that you got.
I'm just addicted, bro. It's bad. It is bad. My mouth is constantly dried out because of all the salt.
Yeah, I don't know the last time I ate a sunflower seed.
Yo, do you see that sign right now?
Tim Couch, Donovan McNabb, and Achilles Smith. 1, 2, 3.
I'm talking about the sign. The sign behind Kurt Warner right now that says "Free Josh Gordon."
Josh Gordon has done it to himself.
Of course,
everything that's happened to him in his career is because of him. Makes the same repeated mistakes. Values the wrong things. Priorities.
Pick is in. Pick is in. Let's go, boys. Let's go. Mac Jones. No, I'm kidding. If it was Mac Jones, you'd hear a lot of laughing coming from my mic right now.
The Mac Jones smokescreen of 3 was never even realistic. I still think, even with Trey Lance being the quarterback drafted, that the discussion was between him and Justin Fields.
Let's see. Yeah, is Jimmy Garoppolo traded now, or they keep him for a year?
I think you move on from Jimmy Garoppolo, but it might not be today. Most likely tomorrow, or potentially on Saturday.
Who would have interest in him other than New England?
Depends on what New England does.
So we'll see what's going to happen here.
Kyle Pitts here.
We'll see what happens. Goodell's up, and here we go. There you go. There you go. Did you see who it is yet?
Kyle Pitts.
I need a reaction. I need something from you, Zach. I need to be able to announce it. I didn't know if
none of these are interesting picks. Here's where maybe some interest gets, but
you still got to announce it.
Most likely, the first 5 picks were solidified, and this is going to be Jamar Chase right here.
Right, but we still got to announce it. It might be someone who's not watching the draft right now. Needs to know.
I was trying to give you the luxury of being behind with the bad cable.
The bad cable. NFL comp Darren Waller. That's a
That's
huge
definitely
comp.
accurate. I mean, they got the same size, speed, but Kyle Pitts seems to be a little bit stronger than natural tight end, but also could split out at wide receiver. Darren Waller was a Georgia Tech blocking wide receiver in the triple option that formed into a tight end because of his huge frame that they're putting on weight and sticking on
I
the
mean, look at
Ravens
him.
practice squad.
He could 100% play wide receiver right now.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. The difference between the two is Darren Waller still doesn't have all the traits of a natural tight end, but he is obviously one of the best tight ends. He's so dangerous in the pass game.
I know you're upset because he
But
should have been a Raven.
he was on the Ravens practice squad. He was also, but he wasn't making the right decisions at that point in his career.
Overcame a lot, though, which is incredible to see.
It's definitely a good story to see, and I'm glad. And he's a really good player. He's definitely someone you would want in your offense. And if you want to compare him, obviously the hometown, I would take Darren Waller every day of the week over Zach Ertz.
So here's an off-topic, not draft question, but NFL question. How do you feel about Patrick Peterson rocking the purple number 7 again this year?
Well, if we're getting into that type of conversation, Leonard Fournette just announced that he's going back to number 7
Is he?
for the Bucks. So that's gonna be lit.
I love it. Anyone who hates it is just dumb. Like, let them wear whatever number they want.
I think I don't think it matters, but then at the end of the day, it's just you're so used to like the numbers. I don't want it to get like like 2 out of 2 out of control. You know what I mean?
Nah, I don't care, bro.
And I don't think
Brady's-
even the player like certain players like Stephon Diggs said he's going to keep the same jersey number. He knows people are out there spending their money on it. Leonard Fournette said he's going to buy back some jerseys. So,
I mean, I get it. If you're an established player,
I just
sure.
never thought this day was going to come. But I'm not the type of person either that logs on to Madden when I play and changes everyone's numbers to low numbers. I like keeping them at the same range that they were at. So that's just my personal opinion.
It might not even be unlocked on Madden.
It is.
Okay.
It used to not be, but now it is.
Who the hell is this guy? The fully vaccinated draft room. What an interesting graphic. I mean, look, he's the top tight end in the draft. I think he's the best player that's not a quarterback. I mean, you have to do this. This is why the Philadelphia Eagles traded back.
It's interesting because thinking about it now, play style wise, Trey Lance kind of has a lot of similarities to an extremely upgraded version of Colin Kaepernick, but with the same legs, same running ability, but a more high end passer with a lot stronger of an arm. And there was a lot of success in the organization with Colin Kaepernick there. So that's interesting that they picked Trey Lance, and that's an interesting comparison.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, some people may not like it, but
we're also talking about a dude that rushed for like 181 yards in a playoff game versus the Packers. So Trey Lance, that's why I always thought it was crazy that Mac Jones was even being considered, because if you look at today's quarterback, like we talked about, being able to make football 11 on 11 and have to always account for the quarterback and the threat of his legs just opens your offense up that much more. And Mac Jones just does not possess that. And I don't think even without possessing that, he's an overwhelming passer to worthy to shoot him over these other quarterback prospects. So I do 100% believe that he will be the 5th quarterback drafted. And he won't
100%. It's not. I don't even think it's a question.
I don't think it was ever a question that that was going to be the case. I don't know where the smoke screens were. What if there was rumors the Jets possibly were going to take Trey Lance and the 49ers weren't hype about Zach Wilson landing at 3 instead of Trey Lance, and they were trying to throw a smokescreen because of Mac Jones. I don't know what it was, but I have no clue why that was floating around and what sense it even would ever make.
I'll tell you what, man. The pick is in, so first off, thank God. Thanks to the Cincinnati Bengals for not taking all 10 minutes. This is the first interesting pick, I think, where we can actually, okay, it could be one of two people. I mean, you get Jamar Chase and make your quarterback happy.
I think there was a pretty good chance Justin Fields could have been the pick right there, but Kyle Pitts is just too good to pass up. If it was any other person sitting there and other teams with doubts with Justin Fields, I think Justin Fields would have 100% with the pick. But we're talking about Kyle Pitts, who, if there's not a run on quarterbacks, could have been the first tight end ever to go second overall.
That would be impressive, man. But here we go. Pick is in for the Bengals. And I think it's either Chase or Sewell. I mean, do you go with what your quarterback wants and bring in his favorite receiver? Or do you make sure he doesn't blow out his knee again next year?
You also have a high second-round pick where you can get a tackle or maybe even trade up back into the first round.
You also have a high second-round pick where you can get a Terrence Marshall Jr.
It was not even close to Jamar Chase.
Doesn't matter. You have to go offensive line here. Like, I can't see why this is an issue. I get Jamar Chase is a great player, but Penny Sewell is going to be
There's already a connection between Joe Burrow. It's different between the top prospect, and I don't even think Penny Sewell's a lock to be the number one tackle from this draft. We could also say the same thing about Jamar Chase, but we're talking about Jamar Chase. The quarterback already has a rapport with this guy.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if you can't get the ball to him in time.
Arguably the best offensive season in college football history.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if you can't throw to him. If you don't have time to throw to him, it's not like Joe Burrow is going to be able to run out of the pocket this year. It's not.
There's a lot of good tackle prospects in this draft. There's probably 8, and that could really be starting tackles. So as long as they land one of them, and I think in the first 37 picks of the draft, they'll 100% be able to land one of the 8 top prospects.
Yeah, Jamar Chase is a good pick, but when you blow out your ACL,
you're talking about Liam Etchenberg, Alex Leatherwood. I mean,
they're not Sewell or Slater though.
Sewell, Slater, obviously going to be the first 2 tackles taken, but I think Jamar Chase is the picker. We'll see.
I just think I get it. Jamar Chase is good. You have a rapport with him.
Jamar Chase, yes, sir. 5th overall pick.
Absolutely stupid. Absolutely stupid. Just let your guy get killed. He'll be out of the league in 3 years. That's awesome. Great job, guys. Good thing I'm not a Bengals fan.
I think big time overreaction here we're getting.
Stupid. So stupid, bro. The kid's going to get killed. He's not going to have time to throw to Jamar Chase because he's going to be on his ass.
We're talking about the top 40 picks in the draft, or every top 40 pick in the draft is valued as a first-round pick.
Then cool. Then get Terrence Marshall at 36.
Terrence Marshall, the drop-off between the tackle prospect you get here and the tackle prospect you get at 37 is not as big as Jamar Chase.
You're way underdoing it right now. Way underdoing it. Penny Sewell, Rashawn Slater run laps around guys like Leatherwood and Eschenberg. Run laps around them.
Penny Sewell is no guarantee. Missed all of last year. He opted out. Was a good player with flaws on tape, but a lot of potential. And it's all about ceiling and risk, and there's no guarantees.
A lot of dudes opted out.
Especially at left tackle. I mean, we've seen guys at left tackle, so many guys not paying out.
I don't know.
Especially drafted high in the draft.
I haven't seen anybody more ready to play on the offensive line than Sewell.
I think that is one of the craziest statements. They're more ready to play on the offense. You haven't seen anybody more ready to play like you ever see.
No. In this draft, no.
Rashawn Slater, we're talking about a guy that locked down Chase Young. I think he's definitely more ready to play. His ceiling's not as high as Sewell, so maybe that's why. But if we're talking about more ready to play right now, and Rashawn Slater's the dog himself. But Jamar Chase, the connection was always the connection was always just too big here. The rapport that, like I said, that he already has with Joe Burrow, this was a lock. We knew almost, besides the 49ers at 3, we knew 1, 2, 4, and 5 were almost locks the way the board was going to
Yeah, I
go.
know.
I mean,
I
what
know. I
quarterback
just think
went
it's
where.
dumb. There's going to be no connection if the quarterback can't get the ball out of his hand.
And
That's
the
what it comes
Dolphins
down
are
to.
in. So now the Dolphins, if the tick is in, the Dolphins stay put. They're easily going Penny Sewell right now. Or potentially Devonta Smith would be interesting. But I had on my board Penny Sewell actually dropping 7
I
and
would
Slater going 8. So
laugh so hard if it was Devontae Smith.
I mean, we're talking about a Heisman winner. It is a risk. I think it's high at 6, but Stu was extremely productive. I personally like Jalen Waddle better
So
as
do
my
I.
wide receiver rankings, but could be
Guys
Jalen
that
Waddle too. But I think Penny Sewell would be a good pick for the Dolphins right here. But
guys that are 170 stay healthy for 4 years and then they turn into Deshaun Jackson.
I had in my
How it
mock
is.
draft this pick being traded, so I thought it'd be a quarterback. So if it's not a quarterback, my mock draft could get back on track 7 through 8. The 2 tackles being taken back to back.
They already made the pick. Wow.
So Jamar Chase, I was telling you this pick for months.
I do like this suit, though. I'll give him that. I like the all white. Big fan of the all white. Ooh. Okay. One thing I've noticed draft hats this year, pretty ugly.
You're not digging the draft hats?
No. What? No, man. I feel like I'm looking at a 1970 Chevy's trucker hat with that shit. Get that shit out of here.
Like that Snickers commercial. Snickers are good. I haven't had Snickers in a long time. Snickers are really, for me, a Halloween candy. It's the only time I really get a taste of the Snickers.
Only candy I eat year round. Reese's sticks and Crunch bars, Twizzlers. That's pretty much it.
Twizzlers are a top candy. If we're
Oh
talking.
my god! Of course.
Jamar
Crunch
Chase, the
bars
top
underrated.
receiver off the board. We got the top tight end off the board, top quarterback off the board, top wide receiver off the board. We're looking for the top tight tackle to be taken off the board. Top cornerback is probably going to be next after that. Maybe another quarterback. Potentially a linebacker. Micah Parsons could go pretty high. We don't know. He has a really rangy way he could go. I would be happy with him at the 12th overall pick to the Eagles. I think any team taking him, honestly, past the 8th overall pick, once you start getting to the 9th overall pick at Denver State's put, he could be taken there, and I think it's good value. I think Micah Parsons, with a little bit of questions about his character issues, but I don't think it's really going to matter. I think they just blow over from the past, and the player that you're getting in Micah Parsons is just an extremely good player. So maybe the next positions we're looking at outside of the tackle and the cornerback position to be the first player taken could be a linebacker, which is interesting.
I don't think this is a linebacker.
No, I don't think that. I'm not saying the Dolphins pick. I'm just saying if we're looking down the line at the next position because we're already getting the same positions. Like I said, this could be the first tackle, and then after that, we were most likely expecting the cornerbacks between J.C. Horn, Patrick Surtain to be picked.
I think
And
Parsons takes a slip, to be honest with you.
he could very well take a slip, but I'm just saying the question with people taking him starts most
At New
likely at
England.
pick 9, the Denver Broncos, who value defense more than any other franchise in the entire NFL.
I think it starts in New England. I mean, Denver could really go anywhere. And remember, it's not John
Jalen
Elway making the
Waddle.
picks.
Wow. We got Jalen Waddle off the board to the Dolphins at pick 6. That's a little bit of an interesting pick, but that's a good pick.
Wow. Still no defensive player off the board. Damn. All right, Tua. The shortest leash of all quarterbacks. Him and Danny Dimes are both on the watch list. Jalen Waddle doesn't look happy to be a Dolphin right now.
Jalen Waddle, like I said, is my second ranked wide receiver. I think this is a good pick for the Dolphins. They did sign Will Fuller this offseason. Gives them an immense amount of speed to pair with Tua. But I think if you guys have watched the podcast prior, you know how we feel about Tua. But adding weapons like this definitely helps the cause.
Absolutely. Hey, Zach, I think now's a good time to check your phone real quick. If you didn't do that already, I don't know if you did that already. Ooh. Santana Moss Pro Comp. Wow, that's a name I haven't heard in a while. I was a big Santana Moss fan. I know you're not allowed to like division
So all
players
these
or
teams are
whatever.
staying firm in the top seven. It seems like they know what their picks are. The past two picks between the Miami Dolphins and the Detroit Lions have came in extremely quick. So
And Detroit's is in. Just like that, Detroit's pick is in. So Will Fuller, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Parker, heavily underrated. Myles Gaskin, good running back, came out of nowhere last year.
they could. I don't think they would take a flyer on a running back at pick 18. I think that'd be a little high. Potentially, if they were to trade back, that could be into the later 20s. They could do that, but I think they take a tackle.
I would love
18th overall pick
for some drama for them to steal Harris from the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Pick 18 would just be. I don't think would be justified value though, with there being really good tackles on the board.
They could jump back to 2023, go right in front of the
I mean,
Steelers.
It would be exciting though. I mean, I'm not hating because it would be the sexier pick to take two offensive skill position players. Like I hope that New York Jets do potentially in getting Travis Etienne, but I actually mocked him an edge rusher instead. Get an investment in the defense.
You know what I haven't seen yet, and sorry for my my camera's just I need a new one, but I haven't seen the best remaining players yet, and usually they do that fairly early. I always enjoy looking at the best remaining players, and
everyone's got a different board.
What's that?
Everyone's got a different board, in my personal opinion. For looking at the best remaining players, definitely Penny Sewell, Rashawn Slater, Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields, in my personal opinion, would be the highest ranked one left. Penny Sewell, Rashawn Slater. After that, Patrick Surtain, J.C. Horn. I'm higher on J.C. Horn personally than Patrick Surtain. So whatever order you like those two in. Michael Parsons right after that. And yeah, we fall down the line. You could argue even Michael Parsons maybe over the two cornerbacks as a pure player,
Mm.
but just the value of linebackers in this league compared to what the value of cornerbacks is just not the same. So
Bro, I'll be honest
we'll
with
see.
you. I'm afraid of Alabama corners. Straight up. I'm deadly afraid of Alabama corners. Ever since Steve Milner, I
I
get
mean,
worried.
Marlon Humphrey's either the second or third best corner in the NFL right now, though.
Yeah,
Probably the
but
third best corner I would say in the NFL.
to me, they're like USC quarterbacks, bro. They're so hit or miss. Like you get a good one, and then you get four terrible ones, then
I
you get
think
a good
Patrick
one.
Surtain's a lock. This, like we talked about in the beginning of the podcast, the size on these guys is impressive.
I mean, bro, it's out of every round in the draft, the first round has one of the least likely odds to be in the league in 3 years. The first round. The best quarterbacks, believe it or not, or the best players come from the fifth round. The second best is undrafted, and then it's the second
Oh,
round.
we just saw Penny Sewell go with the 7th overall pick. It's a good pick right there.
Did
One of the best
did
players left
Goodell
on the
just
board, depending on what position you wanted to go. It's interesting the Lions have Jared Goff on the roster. Want to protect him, maybe build around him, see what they do. Justin Fields could have been another good pick here to pivot at quarterback, but I just don't understand what teams are thinking. And the Carolina Panthers adding Justin Fields to that athletic offense, unloading the Teddy Bridgewater contract, obviously still having Sam Darnold on the roster that they just traded for with the New York Jets. Be interesting to see. I had them going Rashawn Slater. I don't have them taking a quarterback, but I also didn't have two of the top 5 quarterbacks left on the board at this moment. So they could be considering a quarterback, but it's probably unlikely since they did trade for Sam Darnold.
I told you, man. No one believes me.
I mean,
We're
I'm not hitting
eventually
on
going to
Sam
drop.
Darnold. I thought Sam Darnold was the number 1 quarterback coming out of his draft class. I still hold out hope that he could be a good player in the NFL in a
I'm
different
afraid you were
situation.
wrong, my friend. I'm afraid you. I had him as 4, no 3.
Sam
I had
Darnold?
yeah. I had
You
Baker
got
ahead of
Baker
him.
Mayfield over him?
I had Baker as number 1, and he's
Mm.
number 2 right now. Josh Allen's number 1.
I mean, it was almost consensus with Sam Darnold being the number 1 ranked guy, and it was just crazy how I think Baker was 25-1 odds. Placed a
I had
bet
him at
for him to be the
3.
number 1 overall pick.
I had Sam at 3. I had Josh Allen at number 4. I can't remember who I had at 2. Who am I forgetting about? There's 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round. I'm forgetting somebody.
Lamar Jackson and Josh Rosen, right?
Yeah, I had Jackson at 2, Rosen at 5. 4 was Allen, 3 was Darnold, 1 was Baker. If Bengals don't go offensive line, all their fan in the second round, all their fans should just quit. My boys,
Jamar
my boy.
Chase, most likely, if Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are both healthy the whole season, he's going for 1,000 yards.
Oh, he won't be. Joe Burrow won't be back till week 9 at the earliest. ACL, PCL, MCL, and dislocated kneecap? Nah, he ain't coming back. Not early.
I came back from all those injuries and more in 6 months.
Yeah, but that's impressive, Zach. But you're not an NFL player who their future revolves around. Literally revolves around him being successful. They are not rushing him out week 1.
There was a report like 2 days ago, I think, saying that he was going to be on track to play week 1.
That'd be dumb. I would not put him out there. Carson Wentz was on track to play week 1 too, and he broke his back because he was standing wrong because he couldn't
Let's
put weight
not
on
get
his
into the
leg.
Carson Wentz comparisons and put that energy on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They both destroyed their knee. Why wouldn't you put it on at the same comparison? And Burrows is worse. Burrows is way worse. And Carson Wentz came back, couldn't even put pressure on his leg right, and breaks his back because of how he's standing.
Joe
He took a
Burrow,
hit.
Joe Burrow should be ready by the season opener. So I don't know where you're getting the Week 9 stuff from.
Because they're not doing shit next year. They should not rush him back. That is absolutely asinine to rush him back. He's going to get destroyed. He's still going to be wearing a brace. He's not going to be elusive. He's not going to be quick. They don't have an offensive line where they can wait. He's got to get the ball out in like 2.8 seconds with that offensive line at the moment. No shot I would not start him week 1. If they do, everybody should be fired. Everybody should be fired.
I think there's no guarantees. I think there's an absolute guarantee that if he's healthy, week 1 he will guaranteed be starting.
All right. $5 gentleman's bet right here. He does not start week 1. Deal?
$5? I'll put $100 on it. It's guaranteed he's starting week 1.
Sorry. I don't have rich Zach Deal money, all right?
No, I'm just saying that's how big of a lock I think it is right here.
There we go. Dumbass Cameron. All right. No shot. Oh, the Panthers didn't trade out. Okay. Interesting. It's got to be Slater, right?
That's what I'm expecting here.
It's got to be Slater. Oh. Wow. All right, Ian Rappaport just said it's between Fields and J.C. Horn. Oh, okay. Getting a little hype now. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that dude without a mask looks kind of creepy. I'm gonna throw that out there. Not gonna lie. He did not want to be on camera. Is it a value pick? Like, why would you trade for Sam Darnold if you thought one of the quarterback you like was going to drop? That doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you go out and get somebody who I believe should start on a competent team, but the Jets weren't competent the last few years? And
so the consensus Eagles pick here gets selected. J.C. Horn is off the board now.
Wow. Eagles got to trade up now. They got to trade up to Denver now. Surtain ain't making it past the Cowboys.
It's looking like the Eagles could very much well be taking Michael Parsons right here.
Oh, my God. They're going to trade back.
It's definitely an option. They stay put at 12. I think the best player that's going to be on the board for them is going to be Michael Parsons.
Oh, my God.
I think Justin Fields I think that Denver, this is the chance for Denver to get their quarterback and get a steal and take Justin Fields. Obviously, you've heard me mention Justin Fields a lot on this podcast. I'm just very high on him, and I just don't understand the devalue of a quarterback with that prototype. If you look at today's NFL,
the first defensive
has a better arm coming out than Lamar Jackson. Very close in athleticism to Lamar Jackson. You could do a lot with him. Kyle Shanahan would have been able to scheme him up extremely well. He obviously wasn't the pick there, Trey Lance.
Bro, J.C. Horn, I love him. First defensive player off the board? I don't love him that much. To the Broncos, you got the Giants, you got Dallas. Philly's in trouble right now. Philly is definitely in trouble.
Depends on what Philadelphia is looking to grab.
Unreal. Here you go. This is number 9, man. This is where the trade could happen. For anybody, to be honest, anybody could jump in this spot right now.
If Denver's smart, they stay put and they take Justin Fields, and they're extremely happy. Their quarterback fell to them. They finally get an interesting quarterback prospect, and Teddy Bridgewater was traded with a 6th-round pick. Drew Lock's definitely not the answer, in my opinion. So definitely have to consider it here. Listen to the phone lines, see what they say. You get something overwhelming, you obviously have to consider it. I had to trade up with the Denver Broncos in my podcast. Just thought there would be more quarterbacks off the board at this point, and Washington would be getting aggressive, but that's obviously not the case.
Who's most likely to trade into the spot if they were to trade? Who would you say?
Team like the Washington football team, the New England Patriots, the New Orleans Saints were talked about moving into the top 10, so those are 3 teams that would be interesting. I don't really envision any other team really making a trade up for anything other than a quarterback to this point, unless they extremely loved a defensive player or Rashawn Slater. That defensive player most likely being a corner to jump Dallas for Patrick Surtain.
Yeah, they're using all their time here. They're fielding calls at the moment. They drafted Paxton Lynch. I forgot about that. Oh, what a terrible pick.
They never really value the quarterback position. They value defense more than any other team in the league, like we talked about. But Micah Parsons, maybe this is the highest he could possibly go, like we talked about. But who knows? Justin Fields, in my opinion, wasn't going to be on the board this late, or he was going to be traded up for. But obviously, teams, the noise about him falling is true, but also Mac Jones is falling as well. So a lot of people thought Mac Jones wasn't going to be going, and Justin was going to be falling by himself, but they're both falling. Like I said before, I guarantee Mac Jones is the 5th quarterback selected, and Justin Fields will be the 4th. It just depends on when they're going.
Zach, I just got to throw out there that I'm tired of this Denver only takes defense thing. Like, John Elway is not making the picks anymore. They got a brand new GM in there. People don't stay the same forever. It's time to change it up. They know that. They've been the 3rd to 4th bottom feeder since Peyton Manning left. I mean, this has to be a quarterback. You have to get back on track. You have Justin Herbert.
The value of having a quarterback at this point, and that guy being Justin Fields, is huge.
I mean, you have Herbert over in LA. The Raiders seem like they're getting it together. Derek Carr looks like he's on, his last shot, but the team's not terrible. The Rams just traded for Matthew Stafford, who's finally on a good team. I mean, this is it. Or not the Rams, I'm sorry. Why am I blanking out on the other team in the division? It'll come to me, but either way. There we go. There's the best available. Oh, wow. He has a safety mo ring. 16th. I mean, he's good, but I would not have him.
I have
Hey.
Trevin Moehrig going to the Jacksonville Jaguars at pick 25.
Yeah, this guy has him at his 16th best ranked player. I mean, over Kwity Paye. Really?
I mean, your rankings also align with how they're going to be drafted, the value of different positions also,
Okay, so 16 would be Arizona.
Better overall player, but if he's not of a player of value, with safeties always getting devalued and not their I mean, the stock, the supply and demand usually tells you that if there's not too much of something, like a guy like him, then their stock might be higher. But I don't think I see him going anywhere inside the top 20. Maybe at pick 16 to the Arizona Cardinals to match with Buda Baker.
Trade it. I'm going to turn you down so you don't ruin it for me. So I'm going to be silent for a minute.
It'd be a win for all of the NFL to see the Denver Broncos get back on track and get a quarterback right here. But if not, the Cowboys aren't taking one. The Giants. If Justin Fields is on the board, do you take him?
I see you talking, bro, but I got you muted. I ain't letting you ruin this one. I got to figure this one out. I gotta watch it live, get the live reaction. Jesus.
Okay, that's interesting.
The NFL Network dudes are sitting at a desk that's longer than my house. All right. Come on, Goodell. Oh, my God.
That's interesting. What do the Cowboys do here? Rashawn Slater?
Patrick Surtain? Ah, dude, who are the
Rashawn
Eagles
Slater
going
the
to pick?
pick here for the Cowboys? There was a little bit of rumors about Micah Parsons to the Cowboys as well.
That'd be deadly. I mean, I guess when you play Patty Mahomes and Tyreek Hill every year.
I told you about the value that the Denver Broncos put on defense, man.
I'm a little surprised about this.
This tells me that they had Patrick Surtain as their number one rated defensive player on their board.
They did not think he was going to get here. Ooh, the pink suit. The pink suit. That's clean, bro. That is clean. Wow. So Patrick Surtain to Denver, really, it's just what are the Eagles going to do? Do they panic and take Newsom?
At 12, there's absolutely no chance they take Greg Newsom.
Oh, I didn't say 12, brother. I didn't say 12.
Do the Giants consider Justin Fields if he's on the board?
Dude, I'm really interested for their pick. I'm more interested for their pick than I am for Dallas. I think Dallas is going to be defense, but I'm really interested.
Dallas could go defense, but Rashawn Slater still being on the board, tackle could definitely benefit them, especially with Tyron Smith with that smaller build finally deteriorating. Seems like they need a little bit of a retool on the offensive line. That was also an issue. We obviously saw Dak get hurt, saw Andy Dalton get hurt.
Ooh, that's a clean jersey. The Surtain, the
Offensive
second
line
jersey.
would not be a bad pick for the Dallas Cowboys here.
His dad played in the NFL, right? The Pat Surtain Sr. Yeah. Was his dad a corner? I never even heard of his dad until the draft started.
Who?
Pat Surtain's dad.
Patrick Surtain's day. Never heard Patrick Surtain. He was like a 5-time Pro Bowler.
No, man.
The
What year?
Chiefs and the Dolphins. Mid-2000s.
Too young for me.
The Eagles are trading up with the Cowboys.
What? No.
Maybe to draft for Sean Slater. The Eagles
No.
and the Cowboys just made a trade.
No. No. I'm texting Sean right now, keeping him updated while he's driving. Oh.
Is this Micah Parsons right now? Trade up to get Micah Parsons?
Dude, I don't even know. I'm freaking out. Yeah, they want to get in front of the Giants for who? Zach, I know I tell you this every pick, but I've never been more serious. Please don't say it. I'm freaking out right now. Oh my God, what if they traded Zach Ertz to the Cowboys? Could you imagine? Zach Ertz to the Cowboys?
We talked about it. I had the AFC East making an interdivision trade, but not the NFC East.
Dude, if they gave up 37, I'm going to put my head through a window. No, they gave up the 84th overall.
Micah Parsons, Rashawn Slater, or Devonta Smith. 3 names I see here being the pick.
Wow.
So the Eagles last year probably felt like the Cowboys swiped their player, CeeDee Lamb, at 17. They weren't going to let it happen this year, or the NFC
Oh, it doesn't look like it's
East
Devontae
fell in the
Smith.
Giants.
They just showed Devontae Smith and he's shaking his head, so I don't think it's him. They're on the phone with whoever it is. They just hung up the phone.
This tells me that the Cowboys might obviously see the Giants as a bigger threat, and the player that maybe they expect the Eagles to pick, or is the player that they would expect the Giants to pick, and they are more fearful for the Giants to have that player than the Eagles at the current state of both teams.
Which would be interesting. Because the Giants have the worst quarterback in the league, in my opinion. Do we not have a third-round pick now? Zach, hello?
Hold on one sec. The Eagles came into the draft with 11 picks. So to move up 2 spots, I don't think it would take too much. Maybe only the third round pick itself.
They gave up just 84 and the first round.
Wow.
Don't do this to me, Zach. Don't do this to me.
Wow, that's a power move.
Don't do this to me, Zach. I'm freaking out, Zach.
That's a solid pick right there.
I'm not looking at my text. My phone's blowing up. Oh, my brother commented. Don't say who it is. TJ, I'm delayed. Don't comment. I'm so delayed right now. I still haven't gotten the pick. He just got to the thing. Why am I so delayed, man? Oh, no. Oh, no. No way. No way. No way.
It's an aggressive move. They definitely had Devonta Smith really high. Another wide receiver back-to-back years.
I'm so excited to be the New England Patriots with 5'7" wide receivers for the next 10 years. Jesus, you got to be kidding me. Didn't we learn with 170 wide receivers from Deshaun Jackson who can't stay healthy for more than 3 years of his career? Now you're bringing this guy who refuses to put on weight.
That was more so on the back end. That was more so at the back end, though. In the beginning of his career, Deshaun Jackson was one of the better draft picks.
Yeah, I'm trying to have this guy for 5 years, not 4. We're not going to be in the playoff contention for 3. Good Lord.
Wow, Chicago's trading up to take Justin Fields here.
Are they?
Yes, Chicago is trading up to the 11th pick to finally land a quarterback. Power move for Chicago. Good for them.
All right, Jalen Hurts got his boy. Let's see what he can do. Oh, yeah, there's no number 6 on the Eagles. I could see him rocking 6. That'd be pretty badass.
That'd be a very high-selling jersey.
Oh, for sure. He'd be the first Eagle that's not a quarterback or to have a single-digit number.
It's interesting. The Eagles really moved up to Devonta Smith and wanted him when they could have had some different options. That's pick 12. Wouldn't have been that far back. The Giants were definitely going to take Devonta Smith.
That's why they traded out. That's 100% why they traded out.
They had other options, but they weren't going to sit back and wait and see another NFC East team take their wide receiver away from them and get beat by them. It's funny that another NFC East team was the middleman between that and the Dallas Cowboys.
So let me ask this. Out of these teams that was in front of Chicago, who are they most afraid of was going to take a quarterback? New England, Vegas, Minnesota?
New England. New England's probably on the phone with the Giants too.
I would think so.
Possibly Minnesota. Possibly the Saints, who are trying to move up to a top 10 pick, like we talked about before. And Chicago's moving up to get Justin Fields, which is a big-time power move for them as well. Didn't expect for the aggressiveness on trades to start picking up at pick 10. That's actually one of the least likely spots. I had a trade out at pick 9, but pick 10, I thought Patrick Surtain was on the board, which he wasn't. Yeah, you never know.
Yep, that hat is still ugly, even with Philly. Wow. Wow. That's a lot. Here we go. Chicago pick is in. Oh, Zach, I started sweating, dude. I broke into a sweat because of this. What are you doing over there, man? Writing notes?
No, I'm just checking about what's going on in the social media world, responding to some people, responding back to me on my post. Expecting Justin Fields to be the pick here. Just trying to see the public reaction of what people think. So I think this is actually a good move for the Chicago Bears.
Did you look? All right, since you're on the Twitters, did you look up what are the Eagles? How do the Eagles fans feel about Devontae Smith? Is he
Most
universally
people I
liked?
see so far like him. Like it.
I guess I'm the only one who has hesitations. I mean, I like it because I know he's a good player, but I do not trust him to stay healthy. I don't buy jerseys, however. I might have to buy a jersey with that number 6, though, because that's going to be dirty.
Wow, Justin Fields. Here we go. It's game time. Good for Justin Fields, man. All this random hate. This dude's going to be 100% worth the value of the 11th overall pick.
You think Andy Dalton still promised to be the starter?
Good for that franchise to get a pivot from that horrific stuff going on over there, man.
$10 million to Andy Dalton. They told me he was going to be the starter, and then they go and draft Justin Fields. Andy Dalton's burning a field somewhere. And the fall ends.
Yeah, season ticket holders text me. They like the pick, so that's always a good thing.
Here you go. So you think they were?
I think the Eagles also, to mention too, when you were asking me about the public reaction, a lot of the Eagles fans are happy that it seems like the Eagles completely sniped the Giants and the Cowboys, their
I do like that.
familiar foe, finally threw the alley-oop for them. So it's kind of funny how things work out.
Division
So
rivals.
the Cowboys allow the Eagles to get a wide receiver, don't get Surtain, and the Giants get beat for their picks. So at the end of the day, the Eagles won, but there is compensation the Cowboys receive. Interesting to see where the Cowboys go here. I think Rashawn Slater should be the pick. Like I said, would have been the pick. I thought they stayed put at 10. So
I'd say dark horse Parsons here. Dark horse.
that could be an option, but I think Parsons is going to slide.
Oh, that was a nice escape against Clemson there. Oh. Hey, remember last time they traded up for a quarterback? One place for Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, then Solomon Thomas went to pick after.
The worst trade ever. How much they gave up?
Both sides the worst trade ever. Neither team did anything with their picks.
I'm happy for Justin Fields. But does Mac Jones go in the first round? If Justin fell that far, is Mac Jones even a first rounder anymore?
I 100% believe so.
Where could you see him going at a time like this? Because I had him to the Bears.
I think if he drops, the furthest he could drop is to 19 to the Washington football team.
I would love it. Love it. Love it for Washington to screw themselves and get Mac Jones. Big fan of that. The best quarterbacks are always the ones that slide.
Not always necessarily true.
Pat Mahomes.
We were just talking about Brady Quinn earlier today.
Talking recent. More recent. Pat Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers are obviously the two most notable ones. Lamar Jackson. You can even throw Josh Allen in there if you wanted to. Deshaun Watson should have been the first quarterback taken.
Still interesting. The Eagles really value Devontae Smith enough.
I didn't even think of that. Kwity Paye could be the pick here.
That would be a horrible pick for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, we're also talking about the team that did draft Taco Charlton in the first round too. So
She's still in the league?
I think so. Rotational guy.
Here we go.
Micah Parsons goes to the Dallas Cowboys at pick 12.
Dark horse, baby. Dark horse. Told you.
I mentioned that earlier in the podcast. I was telling you there is some little bit of rumors about Micah Parsons here. Jerry Jones loves this is a prototypical Jerry Jones. Probably thinks he's the best defensive player in the draft, which he might not be wrong about, and he gets BPA.
All right, Zach. Hey. There you go.
Okay, so Sean should be joining us shortly. Interesting, Micah Parsons is the pick here. There was a little bit of rumors like we talked about him here. Jerry Jones, prototypical pick. Thinks he's the best defensive player in the draft. Might not be wrong about it. Jerry might think people would pick one of the Eagles who could have picked Micah Parsons here. There's connections, but he takes him instead. So Jalen Smith, Leighton Vander Esch, and Micah Parsons. So once Sean gets in here, we'll get his reaction to what he thinks of so far. There's a lot of interesting picks. Pretty much started with the Dolphins picks, so we knew what the consensus top 5 was going to look like, and it planned it outside of pick 3, which was a little bit up in the air, but most likely solidified. All the interest and intrigue started coming after the 5th overall pick when the Dolphins came out to the board at pick 6. So Jalen Waddle was a little bit of interesting pick. Many thought it could be Devonta Smith, but I always had Jalen a lot higher. But they could also take a there. Could trade it out, but they stayed up their guy. So Sean's in here now. Let's welcome him in. How are we doing, Sean?
Good. Getting in the door.
Okay, so what's your reaction to all this movement and these recent trades and these NFC East interdivision trades that we got going on over here?
Well, I think it was smart. I actually just posted. I said the NFC East is a magical division because the Eagles lost intentionally to give Washington a division win over the Giants, and now the Cowboys trade with the Eagles so they can get ahead of the Giants and take Devontae Smith, who actually the Giants are going to take.
And the Cowboys ended up not with Patrick Surtain, but allowed the Eagles to come up to get a wide receiver, another threat. But they end up with Micah Parsons, who could have easily been the Eagles' pick at pick 12.
Yeah, probably
if
should
they would have
have been.
stayed put.
Probably should have been the Eagles' pick at 12. I talked about it on the mock the other day. I'm not mad. I said I wouldn't be mad if they took Devontae Smith. But there is legit concern over his weight.
We shall see. I think he's the best pure route runner in the class. So his rocker step is amazing. He creates crazy separation route running wise. So as the best pure route runner, Jalen Waddle was a speed demon. Not the cleanest routes, but he obviously had so much threat and ability with that. Jamar Chase is extremely strong. Plays like a lot of people think he plays like A.J. Brown, maybe Anquan Bolden's comparisons, a little bit more athleticism. So Devonta Smith, even with the size, though, he can get open as long as he doesn't get pressed off the line of scrimmage. And that's going to fall on Nick Sirianni being able to scheme them up and put the guys in the right position. You still have to mold Jalen Reagor into the first-round pick he was drafted to be while having Devonta Smith be effective too. But
yeah,
I like the weapons that the Eagles now have on offense. They probably need a big body receiver. Don't expect J.J. Arcega-Whiteside to ever grow into that. He should probably be off the team. Maybe he gets cut in the summer, doesn't even make the team coming out of training camp. We'll see. Maybe a different look for him. Now he has solidified the third option. They don't even have to worry about. There's no journeyman type of guys that are going to be taking the role. Still have Travis Fulgham. They also still have blanking on his name right now, Greg Ward in the slot. So
he
they
probably
have some
should have
weapons
played next year. Greg Ward probably should. I mean, when you have a roster that now has Devonta Smith,
I mean, they're going to have him for
Jalen
back end
Reagor,
depth with the concerns of Devonta Smith and his size, just some back end depth, just because of the smaller receivers they have on the roster and guys that are familiar with the offense. But at least the days of Jordan Matthews signing the contracts for depth with the Eagles is over.
Right.
So
absolutely.
we can hang around.
Like I said, I'm not mad at the Smith pick. But there is legit concern about his size. A receiver of his size has never ever made an All-Pro team. People want to bring up Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison was 18 pounds heavier than Devonta Smith. He was also playing with the second best quarterback ever in Peyton Manning. They bring up, Deshaun Jackson. Devonta Smith is not even close to as fast as Deshaun Jackson. Devonta Smith isn't fast. If he ran a 40, it would probably be in the 4.6-ish range. He's a very good route runner and gets open. My only problem is he really didn't. People were like, "Oh, but he played well in the SEC." Who'd he go against in the SEC? Surtain was his teammate, so he never went against him except in practice. And then J.C. Horn is the only other top corner in this class who's from the SEC, and he held him to under 50 yards.
One thing that also is interesting is Devonta Smith with his size at receiver. These cornerbacks have been huge coming out of this draft class.
Exactly.
We got Patrick Surtain, that's almost 6'2", 6'1.25", 205 pounds. J.C. Horn, same size, 6'2", 205. So he's really going to have to prove that he can beat the press off the line of scrimmage. But he is a phenomenal route runner. So it's going to take, like I said, Nick Sirianni to be able to scheme him up in the right spot to get the favorable matchups. And they still do have threats at the tight end position, too. We got to see what happens with Zach Ertz. I mean, I put up a poll the other day, and consensuously like over 90% of people don't think he's going to be on the roster after this weekend via some sort of trade. Maybe it's a round swap, kind of like what the Ravens and Eagles did with Timmy Jernigan, moved up some picks in the third round when the Eagles ended up trading for him. Maybe it's something like that with the team, or they get an outright 4th or 5th round pick. But if you keep Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert, now have Devonta Smith, Jalen Reagor, and Travis Fulgham, that's a pretty nice cast of weapons with Miles Sanders in the backfield. Decent, I mean, the offensive line is still probably good at its full strength. We got to see if Brandon Brooks can bounce back from another big-time injury. Lane Johnson can finally stay healthy. Left tackle position is interesting. I thought left tackle could be – I think there was 3 guys that I was thinking when they traded up to pick 10 that it could potentially be. And those 3 guys were Micah Parsons, Rashawn Slater, or Devonta Smith with how the board was at the moment. So left tackle still a question mark. But Rashawn Slater is now going to the Los Angeles Chargers to protect Justin Herbert. So they couldn't get Justin Herbert's teammate in Penny Sewell, but they get the next best thing in this draft. And arguably, some teams think Rashawn Slater's more proven than Penny Sewell at such a young age and opting out of the season, not having the most experience. So could be a good pick here. Definitely think the value is worth it at 13 to get Rashawn Slater. I had him actually going 9.
Yeah, I had them trading.
Actually, excuse me, I'm going pick 8. Pick 8.
Same, I had the same thing. Oh, I'm sorry, I actually had them going pick 7 to the Chargers.
I had Sewell going pick 7 and Slater going pick 8.
Yeah, this draft has been wild. I mean, everybody thought Aaron Rodgers was going to end up getting traded somehow.
Can the Saints make a splash for Aaron Rodgers?
Would the Packers do that and take a first-round pick that late? I mean,
but like we're talking, this 49ers were offering numerous players, 3rd overall pick, and Garoppolo, and got turned down. So what are the Saints going to offer that's not going to blow up the roster to the point where it's not even worth trading for Aaron Rodgers because their team's not good anymore to even compete with them?
Exactly.
Like, do they want Michael Thomas? Like, you're beat. You know what I mean?
And the Packers still have no idea what they have in Jordan Love. I mean, they didn't.
But at some point, they're going to have to let the egg hatch. This pick here is really interesting. Do you think there's any chance the Minnesota Vikings explore Mac Jones here at pick 14? A younger option, similar to Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins on a 1-year deal with 32 left on it. Could definitely pivot from the quarterback position. Might not be picking high. They're a pretty good team. They have pretty good players in the win now situation. I would say they're in like a weird situation where a lot of their elite players are kind of getting to like the older stages of their career. And Harrison Smith, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson is obviously a solid player, but having Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson is only going to last for so long.
Right.
So Dalvin Cook's going to be.
I think they need to go Elijah Vera Tucker.
That's who I had them mocked here too, but also had Mac Jones off the board at this point, so he wasn't available in my mock. I don't think I would have mocked that. I still would have mocked Elijah Vera Tucker, but you never know. But at 15, there is some intrigue too, because at 15, the New England Patriots could easily land Mac Jones here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I personally.
So it looks like the Vikings are actually going to be trading out of this pick. That's what people are reporting.
If you take, their offensive line is abysmal.
Okay, so the Jets are coming up right now. So here we go.
I'm trying to think who they could be targeting. I mean, I don't think they would have
to. So the Jets really like a tackle right here to put beside Mekhi Becton, or?
Yeah, it could be Tevin Jenkins.
Maybe Darshaw.
Yeah, Darshaw.
Elijah Vera Tucker, you never know. Could it be a defensive player, though?
I had them mock Newsome at 23.
I had Newsome going to the Titans at pick 27.
I think it would be super risky if they traded up for a guy like Caleb Farley. Just because there's actually talk. The people I talked to Actually, there's talk that he might not even go tonight. In Farley because there's legit concern that he's going to need another back surgery before he's able to even come back.
That would be demoralizing. That'd be crushing for him. He had the in season related back injury, then he had the non-season related back injury, and then another back injury would really drop his stock. But we were
Yeah, they
talking about
said
it
they
when
said
Nick was
he's
on
not.
here that
The
he could
people I
be one of
talked to,
those second round guys
yeah,
like
the people I
Miles
talked
Jack
to
or
said he's
Jalen
not.
Smith.
He never fully healed, so he might need another surgery to correct still that
I do
previous.
believe the Cardinals will consider him at the pick, and they are high on him. So that's a team
I
that they
actually
could be
mocked.
jumping
I
if that was.
mocked Caleb Farley to the Bucks at 32 because if there's one team
That's
that
really
can
good value. I mean, your BPA at that point, 32.
that's what I was just about to say. If there's one team, there's one roster that could afford to take a guy and then have him even put him on ice for a year just to have him get healthy and then throw a guy like that in their rotation, then it's the Buccaneers.
I actually had the Buccaneers taking Jalen Phillips because the edge rushers were so extremely hard to mock to see where they were actually going to go because they're just not anywhere near the top flight of what they usually are coming out.
I had Phillips off the board to the Colts at 21.
I had the Phillips, or I had the Colts actually taking a pass rusher too.
Jets are on the clock. I'm curious which way they're
Colts.
going.
I had Quiddy Pay to the Colts, pick 21. Similar build to a guy like Dwight Freeney.
Yeah, I could see that. I have Jalen Phillips ranked higher than Pay on my Jalen Phillips is my number one edge rusher in my rankings. But teams are high on Quiddy Pay. Somebody's going to get tremendous value tomorrow with a guy like Greg Rousseau.
Greg Rousseau is definitely one of those guys that, like, those second round picks are the guys that aren't fully proven but had the high end potential to turn into something big. With that first round potential, that's where all those type of guys go. Could see a guy like Asante Samuel go in that range and be arguably the best corner in the draft at some point in his career coming out of this class. So
I was actually just talking to somebody because there was rumors that the Eagles were trying to move up, not only at 10. The Jets are taking Elijah Vera Tucker.
okay, that's not a bad move for them.
I
I
that.
had them taking a edge rusher actually at 23.
Now that opens up the door to this. The Saints could probably take Newsome now if they don't like one of the receivers that are left.
So what do the Patriots do? A lot of people think the Patriots hold the key to the draft. In the middle of the draft, they could go in so many different directions. You ask anybody about any type of Patriots information, nobody knows what is going on over there besides Bill Belichick himself.
I mean, it's a weird team. They were
Could they
bad
take?
last year.
Would it make sense to take Mac Jones here just because of the value at 15? Or
Maybe. I mean, I would definitely. I wouldn't consider it personally because I don't think Mac Jones is any good. But
I agree.
But if a team like the Patriots wants to pull the trigger on Max, but that's not a Bill Belichick type pick, though. I feel like
A lot of people thought Justin Fields would be a likely trade up. I actually had them trading up, but at the end of the day, the Patriots really just didn't have the resources to go up and make a trade like that from the moves they've been making in years past. So
the Patriots are a weird team because it's like most bad teams are like why they're bad. We know why the Patriots are bad too, but most bad teams have to be built through the draft and get better and accumulate a lot of picks. But the Patriots are in a weird scenario where they had 8 defensive starters opt out last year due to COVID. So they're going to be getting them guys back this year. So, like, in reality, like, how bad is their actual roster? I know that the receivers are lacking, especially now.
we had some really impactful players opt out too. Donta Hightower, who's the captain, arguably of the defense.
That receiving core that was garbage already got worse with Edelman retiring. So it's going to be interesting to see.
I mean, if we're talking Gregory Rousseau going to any team in the first round, this is a Patriots pick, even at 15, where they would take a guy just with a crazy high ceiling potentially that they could teach into a pass rusher, especially with Bill Belichick's being a defensive-minded guy. So, but I'm not saying that I don't think by any chance that is actually going to be the pick, but this is a team where the range of who the picks could be could vary from a guy like that, who some teams might value as like the 45th overall pick, to maybe a wide receiver like Rashad Bateman.
Yeah. I mean, I'm super high on Bateman. I had him as wide receiver 3 in this class, behind Chase and Waddle. Um, if he went to any other school, I think he's being talked about as a top 12 pick.
And since we've seen the Jets have 2 first-round picks, now move up. The Dolphins have 2 first-round picks. Potentially, maybe they move up at 18. The Ravens also have 2 first-round picks back end. The Jaguars obviously have picked once already and have another first-round pick. I think out of those teams, the Ravens may be one of those teams that could be trading up. Maybe a couple spots move up into the early 20s, get a wide receiver. A big body wide receiver. I think that's extremely important to point out that they would prefer a big body wide receiver.
Yeah.
But then again, as much as I say that, we just watched the Eagles trade up for a wide receiver that has pretty much the same frame as the wide receiver they took last year. Obviously, Jalen Reagor has a lot more muscle tone to his body.
Jalen Reagor's 10 times bigger than Devontae.
Yeah, he's a lot bigger, but at the end of the day, we're talking a difference of 20 pounds. So Devonta Smith is really frail, but what he does on the football field definitely is high end. So if the Ravens can come up and get a big body receiver to complement Hollywood Brown, I think that would benefit Lamar Jackson a lot and help that offense out a lot.
Absolutely. Not to mention Sacramento Brown has stunk so far in his NFL career.
Sacramento Brown here.
Yeah, he hasn't earned the right of Hollywood just yet. So he's Sacramento Brown until he actually.
And obviously, the Ravens were in the market for a big body receiver. They were trying to steal Juju Smith-Schuster from the Steelers. They weren't able to do that, so very likely maybe Terrace Marshall Jr. It's another guy I had mocked them because I had Rashad Bateman going to the Chicago Bears at 20 if they stay put. But I'm actually really happy for the Chicago Bears actually finally making a power move. How do you feel about that move, Sean? Gave up a 5th-round pick this year and gave up a 4th-round pick last year or next year and a 1st-round pick next year, and obviously the 20th overall pick to go up and move and take teams out of the running for Justin Fields to secure him.
Yeah, I mean, what were they doing at quarterback for the longest time?
That's why I'm saying I'm excited just as an NFL fan, growing up as an NFL fan. I'm just excited for the Chicago Bears to finally look like they have a guy with high-end potential that they could actually do something with, and having legs and an arm, which Mitch Trubisky oddly had legs but not an arm, which was very intriguing because usually it's the opposite situation and people just get immobilized. But Mitch Trubisky just really didn't have anything going on. And now the guy who now Mitch Trubisky is starting or not starting is second string in front of Jake Fromm, who was starting over Justin Fields, who Justin Fields should have been starting from his freshman year. And Justin Fields would most likely have been a top 3 pick. But that's a story for another day. A nice hypothetical for you. So the Patriots pick quick, so they must have expected this type of – I don't really think anybody expected the first round to play out like this. But
yeah,
the pick has been quick. There's been a couple quick picks, like the 6th overall pick was really quick. 5th overall pick, 1 through 5 was almost automatic. Besides pick 3 had a little bit of question in the air, but at the end of the day, it was most likely going to be what we saw. 1, 2, 4, and 5 were almost guaranteed locks. Pick 6 where it got interesting. I always, like I said numerous times on here, I had Jalen Waddle over Devonta Smith. So many thought it would be Devonta Smith. People were talking about Devonta Smith early on, right after he won the Heisman, when the Dolphins still had the 3rd overall pick potentially there. So it was linked. But at the end of the day, Jalen Waddle, there's a lot of speed out there in Miami now for Tua to work with Will Fuller and Jalen Waddle on the same roster. Mac Jones has been selected by the New England Patriots.
Yeah, is that
here? It is.
Wow. I mean, like we just said, I mean that's value.
It's definitely value. There's teams that might not have thought he would fall there. I think if he would have slipped any further, can't see the Raiders really. I mean, you keep Derek Carr, in my opinion, over Mac Jones. Obviously, the Dolphins aren't going to take Mac Jones at 18. Washington could have easily, at 19, got really nice value if you would have fell to them there. But maybe that's why the Patriots come up and take him right here. And, I mean, hey, if one team is going to turn Mac Jones and it's the right situation for him to go to, I think I would say it's the New England Patriots.
Yeah, I mean he kind of fits. I mean I'm not gonna compare him to Brady, but he kind of fits that field general, be accurate, more of like a point guard than a quarterback type thing.
I mean, you can't have all these weapons that you just signed out here, regardless of what tier you think the weapons are. The tight ends are definitely good. The wide receivers are a little bit iffy, especially with Julian Edelman leaving. But
They're
you couldn't expect them to do that and then not try and upgrade the quarterback position. This is obviously the best spot for them to do it at. Didn't have to trade up or do anything. Just stayed put. Mac Jones. It's definitely good value for the Patriots.
I've seen rumblings on that like where the Giants considering Fields at.
That's what I was saying. I actually tweeted that out. I said, do the Giants consider Fields at 11 if he's there? 100% an upgrade, in my opinion, from Daniel Jones. I think I'm putting Daniel Jones 30th at least in the league of starting quarterbacks, rank-wise.
If I was the Eagles, I would have pulled the trigger on Fields.
I think, yeah, that would have definitely been one of the picks, too. I think Michael Parsons might have been the pick. Like I said, it was between a couple guys. Rashawn Slater was in the mix at either 10 or 12 where they're staying put at, but this year feels like the most with the quarterbacks like weighing so heavy on everyone's mind. This has been the year that it's been hardest to predict like who's going to go where outside of that top 5.
Yeah, when I was sitting down doing my mock, I was just like, this because I mean, and I almost wanted to do like 2 mocks. Like I had Penei Sewell going to the Dolphins at 6 in my mock, but I wanted to like put underneath it like could also see Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, for real. That's why I said I was going to do 2 mocks, and I was straining my mind so much trying to finish the 1 mock that I was literally trying to morph it into 1. So I just ended up doing 1. But it was definitely since I've been doing serious mock drafts, this definitely was one of the tougher serious mock drafts that I've done since I started doing them.
But I mean, I never would have mocked like the Eagles and Cowboys swapping like 2 picks.
Exactly. I actually had an AFC East interdivision trade, not an NFC East interdivision trade. So that's interesting. I couldn't believe.
I think the biggest shocking pick to me so far tonight has been the Broncos taking Surtain. They just spent a ton of money at the cornerback position in the offseason on AJ Bouye and then Ronald Darby as well. I was beyond shocked.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, they just had him as their number 1 ranked defensive player. But so many people consensuously thought he was going to land either maybe at that Panthers spot, but most likely to the Cowboys at 10. And when he wasn't there, but like we talked about on the mock draft last week, if there's one team that values defense the most in the entire NFL, it's the Denver Broncos. That's what they do. Could easily drafted a quarterback. Justin Fields was there for the taking. I don't know how you don't take Justin Fields there in that situation. You go and trade for Teddy Bridgewater to just have another just dog water quarterback on your roster. Drew Lock, I've been saying he's not the answer. People thought I was biased in the moment, just being salty. I wasn't. I just never thought he was a good quarterback and didn't even think he was worth the 2nd-round flyer, maybe a 3rd. Definitely good value, but I just didn't think he was a top 40 pick. Top 40 picks are all considered 1st-round picks, level of talent. So here's your boy, though. One of your favorite players in the draft's going here to the Arizona Cardinals, Zevin Collins. Very good
Really?
player. Zevin Collins to the Arizona Cardinals. A lot of people were talking about if Michael Parsons fell there, that would obviously be immense value. But Zevin Collins, it's interesting. Where are they going to end up putting Isaiah Simmons? Is he going to end up being a safety? I think he has to be a safety, or is he going to be a box? Like, they can move him all over. He doesn't have to have a traditional spot. But who are they going to have the task of putting back there with Budda Baker? Because I think that's actually a big hole on Arizona Cardinals roster. Also with that second cornerback spot too. With Patrick Peterson leaving, Byron Murphy's a good player, but they need to fill the gap of the Patrick Peterson loss too.
For sure. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do now with. I mean, Zayvon Collins is 110% strictly a linebacker, but he's a freak. But yeah, I mean Isaiah Simmons, they're going to have to pick one. I mean, last year the fact that they were saying that he could only play in certain packages was nuts to me because he barely played, especially in the beginning of the year. And
Played extremely well versus the Eagles though.
mm-hmm.
Played a
Like when
couple
they came
snaps
out and
versus
said they were like, "Well, we don't know
Seahawks.
how to use him." I'm like, just let him do his thing.
He's got exactly every week he's got a different assignment. When he's playing the Eagles, he's got to watch the read option, which he played extremely well versus Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts obviously had a really successful day, but when he was shut down in those situations, it was most likely by Isaiah Simmons coming off the edge. They had to fill a gap last year too with Chandler Jones getting hurt so early. He can pass rush a little bit. Put him at the nickel corner position, really, if you want to, and he can cover some people in the slot a little bit. Match up with tight ends. So just every week, just depending on who you're matching up with, he can do a different assignment for you.
Absolutely.
And we're not like talking about we're just trying to force the issue with athleticism as if it's like Jadeveon Clowney trying to put him out in coverage or something. Like this dude truly can play all these different positions.
Oh yeah.
And is
They
elite.
even asked him coming out in the draft. They said, "Well, what position are you?" He said, "Defense."
That's the right answer. One way to get your stock up. I think the Raiders here, I could definitely see my boy Jeremiah going right here. Wusu.
I mocked them Tevin Jenkins, but I also had Darisaw off the board at this point. But I could definitely see O-line here.
Yeah, they unloaded a lot of offensive linemen in the offseason via trade, so could very well. I think they would consider center Rodney Hudson that they actually just traded to the Arizona Cardinals this offseason, but I don't think Landon Dickerson would be the right pick at 17. You would have to trade back 100%, but if you took him in the back end of the first round, wouldn't be a bad pick. That could be a pick to the Baltimore Ravens or the Green Bay Packers, but right now with the tension between the Packers, I think they have to go wide receiver. They have to. And I was thinking about even mocking them a trade up because also when I was completely finishing my mock draft, it was at the height of all that Aaron Rodgers rumors today, but they just traded up for Jordan Love last year. So I couldn't mock them really another trade up like that. It's just you can't do the assets back-to-back years like that. That's like a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers that could have definitely pivoted at the quarterback position too. They can't really trade up for that. They spent a first-round pick on Minkah Fitzpatrick, traded up for Devin Bush a couple years back, so they don't really have the assets or resources to go up and make a trade like that. Just have to really stay put and figure out what they're going to do at pick 24.
Like how far would Fields have to slide in order for the Steelers to be like, all right,
now it's worth forging the whole future to come get this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, you got me in the middle of fixing my camera, bro. That wasn't a flattering look. Oh, wait. Okay, Zach, making yourself the main star here. All right, I see it. I
don't know. I'm trying to figure out what's it. Right. I thought I had to switch the format because.
Sean, how you doing, brother? How was softball?
Was good.
That's good.
We lost.
All right.
The first game of the year.
All right, fill me in. I need pick 13 on since I don't have Sirius anymore in the car. Who'd I miss?
Yeah, Rashawn Slater at pick 13.
Patriots take Mac.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Oh, there you go. I was just guessing. Nice.
Zevin Collins just went to the Cardinals at pick 16.
Ooh, good pick.
And
Good
then the
pick.
Jets traded up with the Vikings and took
Oh,
Elijah Vera.
yeah, Allah.
They took
They're
Mary Tucker. Huge for the
Mhm.
Giants. Huge for the Giants. I like that pick.
No, that was the Jets.
Oh, the Jets. Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah,
Good for
just
Zach
traded
Wilson.
up from 23.
I thought I heard
So
Giants. I was like,
we're targeting other teams of that realm sitting in those positions that could potentially trade up as well.
so who do we think this
One
is?
picks. Right here, pick 17. I think my boy from Notre Dame could easily be the pick.
Yeah, Zach said he thinks Jock, and then I said I see Darisaw or Tevin Jenkins.
Tevin Jenkins seems like a Raiders pick. Seems like a Mike Mayock favorite kind of
That's
pick.
Also
why
have
mocked
Gammon
him, but
Davis on the
I
board
had
too.
Darisaw going off the board already.
Who do you
We
have?
also have Gammon Davis as well on the
Yeah,
board.
Gammon
Another really
Davis.
good linebacker. So it depends on who you like, but I think Jock has a lot of ability to play a bunch of different roles for you.
Wow, the Raiders are taking an offensive lineman, but it's Alex Leatherwood.
Wow.
High riser.
A little early.
You're
Okay.
telling me, Nick. You're telling me the drop off between the tackles. I told you they're going like flies in this draft, man. What do we see the odds on another quarterback potentially being taken just for the 5th-year option to round out and make 6? Do you think there's any potential in the back end of the first round? Maybe the Saints.
The only one that would make sense to me would be like you hinted on it earlier, like the Vikings. They already traded back.
Oh,
But the only player to me that would like make sense to even like want to take a risk like that would be Jamie Newman, the quarterback out of Wake Forest. He would be the only one that I would actually consider doing that for, because you can at least put him on ice for 2 years behind Kirk Cousins, and then you still have him for 3 years under your control while you let him develop. I couldn't imagine a team trading up for like Kyle Trask or like Davis Mills, somebody
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I'm not really too high on Kyle Trask myself, so
I'm not.
maybe
That's what I
the
said.
Atlanta Falcons.
Jamie Newman, I think is like has potential to be an NFL starter. I was actually very excited to see him play for Georgia last year when he transferred there, but then he opted out because of COVID and didn't play. I wanted to see him versus good competition because he played very well at Wake Forest. Actually, had them relevant for a season. But obviously, we didn't get to see that.
Bleacher Report is selling the same shirt they sold for Jalen Hurts last year for Devontae Smith. They literally just changed the person on it.
I don't even
I
remember
have
what
this
that
from my
is.
drawer.
Zach bought it, I think.
Yeah, I got it in my drawer.
It's the same shirt, but it's Devontae Smith now.
What's it? Does it say anything on it?
Just says Smith, and it's a picture of him. Zach could probably pull out the shirt if he wants. That way he could show you if he knows where it is.
I can't believe the Raiders just took Leatherwood, bro. I feel like this is like the same thing when we were all sitting here.
Hey, man,
And
this is
Farrell.
I was about to say, this is the team that took Salim Farrell 4th. He doesn't look happy, though.
I mean,
You're going to Vegas, bro. Get a little
this
happier.
is that's why I thought Jock could be here, because I didn't think Jock would go any like higher than a pick like this. Probably in the 20s would be good value for him. What
Going
he
to
does.
Cleveland.
But the Raiders believe so much in their scouting department between Mike Mayock and John Gruden that they just believe and trust their will and their gut feeling and the guys who they think. They do not care. Like on that Patriots type vibe, just don't care. Just going to take who they're going to take, and that's that.
Yeah.
I do like Alex Leatherwood. I just don't know how I feel about him at 17. I would have been more comfortable if he went in the 30s or late 20s. But I think he's going to be a damn good player.
It's just a reach where they took him.
Yeah.
Like if Leatherwood was your guy, trade back there.
Yeah, get some picks. Like Mike Mayock is supposed to be this like guru. What are you doing, brother? Does Mike Mayock make the selections or John Gruden? What do you guys think?
I think they both collectively.
Nah, there's always someone who's got final say, though. I feel like John Gruden's contract makes him have final say.
I mean, they're both high-end talent evaluators. So
Right.
here's your
What I'm
boy,
saying is,
Jalen Phillips, with the 18th pick.
Wow.
yeah, Jalen Phillips staying in Miami.
He actually was my 32nd overall pick. So I had no clue. That was this, like I said before, the biggest thing that held me up on my mock draft was the edge rushers. I had no clue where to put them at. Just there was such a rangy way that you could start putting them. You didn't know how the trades were going to fall out, who was going to take what. But at the end of the day, there wasn't just any overwhelming edge prospect or defensive lineman defensive end prospect or even interior defensive lineman prospect that really pushed the envelope for you. Like usually we're seeing numerous defensive linemen, defensive tackles, at least 3 defensive tackles off the board and 3 defensive ends off the board. I picked 8.
I didn't see Jalen Phillips making it past Buffalo. I feel like Buffalo would have loved to sweep.
I had Phillips going 21 to
the Colts.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like Buffalo wouldn't let him pass. So you missed a nice little discussion Zach and I had earlier, Sean. So we got to get your opinion on it. Just a fun little question. What's your favorite name that could go in the first round? I personally think Kwity Paye is a great name. J.C. Horn, the way it's spelled, great name. That's a Super Bowl talent name.
That was the next name we said was Alex Leatherwood, and that's when we started arguing between the tackle prospects here.
Yeah. Zach and I have disagreed a lot today, but what's an all-star name out of this first round, Zach? Or Sean?
I'm gonna have to think about that.
Take your time. We'll come back.
McCorkle Jones.
Please tell me that's not his actual first name. I hope it's like McDonald Jones. I hope his real name is McDonald. Wait, he returned punts last year? His junior year, Jalen Phillips returned punts.
UCLA doesn't care. They put their defensive players all over the place. Miles Jack's winning like conference offensive rookie of the year, and he's like they're giving him running back runs and rushes at the end of games for UCLA when he was back over there. So they just don't care.
Yeah, I mean Jalen Phillips was actually super little when he was at UCLA. He put on almost 45 pounds of muscle mass when he got to Miami. Because them boys down there are just built different.
Do I hear a little favoritism going on? Hold on, let me
no favoritism.
Let me listen into Tampa down there to see
what's the over under we're putting at Rousseau where he's going.
Tennessee. I like Tennessee.
I say no later than 40.
I don't think he's going to Tennessee in the first round. I think that would be a bad first round pick. But in the second round, I'm definitely taking a flyer on him if I'm a team that could just have the luxury of just taking a high-end player that has really high-end potential.
I'll give you a random one. I like Baltimore's second first-round pick.
That'd be interesting. I think they need to address the offensive line.
I actually mocked them taking just Jason Owa.
Yeah, I mean, they lost Judon this year.
From Penn State with their first pick, and then their second pick taking Terrence Marshall Jr.
Yeah, they lost Judon and
if they go defense and they go defensive line, nothing makes more sense than the Ravens to go invest into another Alabama defensive player and get Christian Barmore.
I'm surprised he's still on the board.
Extremely likely Ravens pick, but I think they might address. They're going to go offensive line. If they stay put, I think they could potentially trade up for a wide receiver if they think Rashad Bateman is going to get drafted at some point. I think Rashad Bateman could easily get drafted by the Giants at pick 20. But if they were to move up, they would go try and target a big body receiver, like I said, and address the offensive line too. And then new gap. They have one at center and they have one at tackle now. So maybe Liam Etchberg from Notre Dame. You could also go with Landon Dickerson, center from Alabama, address the center position.
Big fan.
So, It's what I see the Ravens doing.
Who's the kid? I'm blanking on his name hardcore. Sean, this one's for you. Who's the kid who tore his ACL? Like in the last game, I think it was one of the playoff games. He's a center, tore his ACL.
It's Dickerson.
That is Dickerson?
He tore it in the SEC championship game
Yeah.
against Florida.
I think that dude's gonna be special.
Yeah. I mean, I actually mocked. I was just messing around. I didn't post it or nothing. I mocked a 2-round mock draft. And I had him going to the Bengals at 37. Or I'm sorry, at 30, whatever it is, 33.
6? I think it's 36 because they were originally ahead of the Eagles. So 36 sounds about right. But I mean, maybe he'll be back. Probably not. Maybe a red shirt him. Have him come back healthy. But, okay. And then there were 2. Zach's Kmart connection has finally caught up to him. Up, he's back. Up, he's gone.
He texted and said he'll be right back. So I think
did
got
he?
off on purpose.
Okay, I was going to say. Sometimes that connection doesn't hold up too well. Look at all these Alabama players, bro. Good Lord. So who did Minnesota trade with, since I missed that?
Minnesota traded with the Jets.
The Jets, okay.
The Jets took Elijah Vera Tucker.
Yeah.
It's not like the Vikings couldn't have used Elijah Vera Tucker. But
Yeah, their offensive line is dismal. All right, so New York, Sean, here's a good topic. After Washington, New York, the Eagles and Dallas did a rare trade to rob the Giants. The second time the Eagles have screwed the Giants in a couple months. What do they do now at 20? Where do they go? Is it Rashad Bateman?
I could definitely see Rashad Bateman. Washington is going to take linebacker Jimmy Davis.
Oh.
Linebacker's a big need out of them.
Yeah.
I actually mocked them, Jock. I'm shocked that he's fallen as far as he has. He's more of a hybrid in between guy with safety linebacker, but he's super athletic.
I'm actually interested to see Jamin Davis's stats because I'll be honest, I know he's a first-round guy, but I don't know much about him, to be honest with you.
No, he played at Kentucky, so I feel like people kind of overlook him.
Yeah.
But he's a stud for sure. Can cover really well and just flies all over the field. He might be one of the fastest linebackers in this draft.
Okay. Because I saw his name a couple times maybe last week, and I was like, all right, I got to look him up. Just never got around to it. You're not catching me watching a lot of Kentucky film. Unless it's basketball.
But I think the Giants could definitely go. I think everything's on the board here. I mean, they spent a lot of money this offseason on Adoree Jackson and Kenny Galladay.
Maybe it's just BPA.
But I think you could see Kwity Paye here, too.
Oh, all right.
I would not be shocked at that at all.
So are you happy with the Devontae Smith pick? I know he was like 4th on your.
I'm cool with it. I mean, I said coming in, like there were 5 guys that I wanted at 12 that I would be happy with, that I wouldn't consider to pick like screwed up. Devontae Smith was 5th on that list, but I would have took part. The way the board fell, I mean, obviously Horn wasn't there. That's who I really wanted.
Same.
I really wanted Waddle. He wasn't there.
Surtain would have been nice.
Would have loved Surtain. He wasn't there. And then, but the way the board fell, I personally would have took Parsons. It's the biggest need on the team, and you get the best player at the position in the draft. I personally would have took Parsons there. Um, and honestly, the way the board fell, I probably would have took Fields
Hmm.
and didn't look back. Like, sorry, Jalen, but just I mean, when you're talking about like Jalen Hurts ceiling and Justin Fields ceiling,
Two different things.
it's not even close.
Right.
But like, I would have pulled the trigger on Justin Fields there, but I'm not mad about Devontae Smith. I mean, the guy won the Heisman. There is big concerns about his weight that I just can't ignore. And I said that on the podcast. If anybody listened to that, I said that because I explained my rankings. I posted the pictures of them online, but I explained my rankings on the podcast. And I said, actually, I think I have it in my notes right here on my computer. Let me see.
Yeah, I kind of got into a little argument with Zach about I'm severely worried about Devontae Smith's weight.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, don't get me wrong. I think he's awesome.
Yeah.
I think he has a lot of potential, but I can't even minimize my freaking screen.
Here, my thing is, man, in the NFL, once you hit 26 and 27, that's when you start getting sore. That's when you start getting the injuries. That's when things start happening. And
it's not even so much the injuries for me. The NFL is soft as shit now. I could care less about his injuries. I don't think there's really a risk of him getting injured because defenders know they're not allowed to really hit hard anymore anyway. It's just like the historical factor of him being able to beat NFL corners.
yeah,
And no receiver his size has ever made an NFL All-Pro team. People bring up Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison, for one, was 18 pounds heavier than Devontae Smith. 2, he got to play with the second best quarterback ever, which I'm sure helped his numbers.
right.
People bring up Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson was the smallest receiver I've ever seen. He has 10 pounds on Devontae Smith.
That's what I brought.
And I love it. I think Zach's spot on because we talked about this when I first got on. He asked me about it. I think he's the best route runner in the draft. I agree with him there.
Correct.
But these NFL corners aren't little. Like, they're going to play physical. They're going to bully you. And then my problem is people are like, oh, but it doesn't matter. Look at the year he put up while playing in the SEC. Who did he face in the SEC? You have Eric Stokes at Georgia, who's a borderline second-round pick out of Georgia. Then you have Marco Wilson's the number 1 corner on the Florida Gators. He's going to be a late 3rd, 4th-round pick. Then you have Patrick Surtain, who's his teammate. He never went up against him. And then you have one premier corner in this draft, J.C. Horn, who, when Devontae Smith went up against him, he had 50 yards receiving. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I've seen him play elite level competition once, and he didn't break 50 yards. So, I mean, there's a legit concern. There's never people brought up Chad Johnson. First of all, Chad Johnson was while he was awesome. People forget because he changed his name to like Ocho Cinco, and he was good for what, 4 years?
Yep.
Like, was awesome, spectacular for those 4 years, and he was also a 2nd-round pick. Deshaun Jackson, a 2nd-round pick. Like, it's not like where we took him. So, like I said, I don't hate the pick. The Giants took wide receiver Kadarius Toney, by the way.
Wow. Here's my thing. This is why I said injuries worry me, because I'm not worried about players hitting him and him getting hurt. I'm worried about the Deshaun Jackson factor. Is he going to run himself out of his hamstrings? after 4 seasons? Is it constantly going to be a foot injury? Is it constantly going to be a muscle pull in the leg? Is it constantly going to be a hip issue? You know, these young guys don't stay healthy because their bodies aren't built to be doing what they're doing. And once the Eagles kind of let Deshaun go, you saw the injury history start in Washington. You saw it lead over to Tampa Bay. You saw it lead to Philly, where he's played 2 games in 2 years. Like, I'm worried about Devontae Smith for that.
I'm in agreement with you.
I mean, I would have took Micah Parsons. That's how it is. How the board fell, that's where I would have went. But, you know, the kid's a great route runner, and maybe if they put him in the slot and he goes up against a small corner, he can make a Julian Edelman career. I don't know. We'll see. Wes Welker career. Who knows? Also, Kadarius Toney should have went to Green Bay. I feel bad for him that he has to go to the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, I think he actually fits well with Kenny Galladay and Sterling Shepard and them guys. I think the fit is actually pretty good from an offensive standpoint, but I think there was a lot of talent that's still out there, like Rashad Bateman and Elijah Moore, but like I said, I think the fit is there.
Now we got Indy. I mean, offense is set. I would say offensive line is outstanding. It's too early to go second tight end.
Yeah, I would be shocked if like Brevin Jordan or Pat Freiermuth was the pick here.
It's got to be defense. I mean,
I could see Kwity Paye here.
could we see the first safety?
Or Jock. I know they had Darius Leonard, but Jock is a special guy.
I'm wondering if this could be the first safety off the board, though. Didn't they lose Hooker this year?
Yeah, they did lose Hooker.
This could be an interesting pick.
Yeah, Moring is definitely an option here. But I could definitely see Kwity Paye or even a guy like Greg Newsome. Or do they want to take a shot on a guy like Greg Rousseau?
I'm surprised he's still on the board. I mean, I guess I'm not that surprised, but I'll be honest. I thought he was going to go before Phillips.
The Colts actually could be Bateman here.
I think we had Bateman in the mock draft, didn't we? To the Colts. I think that was me. I think that was my pick. Can't remember. Also, I'm excited to see Devontae Smith going to probably be the first Eagle to wear a single-digit number. That's not a quarterback.
I did say that he said he wanted to wear number 6 or number 3.
I think they're both open, right?
They're both open for sure. The last person to wear number 3 for the Eagles, Mark Sanchez.
The Sanchez, baby, let's go. Who's the last Eagle to wear 6?
I honestly don't know. I feel like it had to be a punter.
What was Rocca? Was Rocca 6?
Yeah.
I think Rocca was 6. Greg Ward was 6 in the preseason 2 years ago. What was Cam Johnson? Cam Johnson was 1.
Mm-hmm.
Underrated, by the way. Disappointed they let him walk. Kid had a cannon. He was built like a linebacker. Just looking at the next few teams, I think Jock goes to Cleveland.
The Colts pick is in. Quiddy Pay here would be a tremendous pick. Or Rashad Bateman as well. Get yourself another young target for Wentz to pair with Michael Pittman. I
Good.
definitely see it. And if Tennessee, if the pick is pay here for anybody except Rashad Bateman, I think it's a no-brainer for the Titans next. After losing Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith,
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and get Rashad Bateman to pair next to A.J. Brown.
Who is on the other side of A.J. Brown? Nobody?
Right now, it'll be they signed Josh Reynolds, but
Adam Humphries retired because of injury. Corey Davis is a Jet. So, yeah. Bateman would be nice.
and they lost their tight end.
But they could go smaller because they don't have a slot guy now. Can't put Josh Reynolds in the slot.
There's a couple. I think the pick is going to be Quiddy Pay, but
Tennessee is another team that needs a tight end, but like you said, it's just too early right now. Because Jonnu's a Patriot with Hunter Henry in the weirdest turn of events ever. What time does the draft start tomorrow?
probably 7. I wonder who this pick is.
I'm not seeing anything.
It's saying the pick is in, but
Yeah, 7 on Friday. Noon on Saturday.
Colts are taking Quiddy Pay.
Okay. So the Rams don't have a first round pick, huh?
They do not.
I guess that'd be the Ramsey trade.
And the Seahawks do not either.
And Houston. All right, there's the announcement. Quiddy Pay. I'm way behind, by the way.
After their trade for Orlando Brown.
For some reason, I'm just so far behind. Like, I think Zach was like 2 minutes ahead of me. I'm also streaming it off YouTube TV, so I got the split screen right now. I got us on StreamYard right here. Over here, I got the draft. Man, those next gen stat scores are pretty bad for Quiddy Pay. I don't know if you're watching ESPN or NFL Network, but they gave his production a 67, his overall 75, and his athleticism a 90. Damn. So I don't know if you heard, but Quiddy Pay is selling an NFT of himself as soon as he gets drafted. I don't know if you know what an NFT is. It's like this new thing. It's like a non-fundable token, and these people are buying it for like $2 million. It's just like some random dumb computer thing.
I've never heard of it.
Yes, it's pretty much like it's like internet art. It's like you can't print it in real life, but it's like a one-on-one, like you own the rights to it. All right, 22. Tennessee's up. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, to me, it should be a no-brainer. Rashad
it's a-
Bateman, I mean Rashad Bateman. I have him as the third best receiver in this entire draft.
So Bateman's pretty much a lock for you out here.
It should be, you would think.
Yeah, I don't know who this dude is. I've never seen him before. Joel Klatt, quarterback, Colorado. In 2006, they have him doing the draft right now. Hey man,
Cowboys going Parsons is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Sean Lee just retired, but they just gave Jalen Smith a contract, and then still have Vander Esch as well.
I think they're really worried about Vander Esch's neck. Honestly, I think there may be something we're not seeing with Vander Esch's neck. It's kind of like I don't know if you and Zach talked about this, but I was kind of going at him a little bit about Caleb Farley, trying to explain like not everybody's Michael Porter Jr. And when you have that injury with that back, backs are no joke, man. If he need, and I just heard today he might need a second surgery.
Yeah, I said that to Zach earlier. I said I actually mocked Farley to the Bucks at 32,
which is
because
probably the best team he could go to.
I said if there's a team that can afford him to have to sit a season, it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, especially with how good that secondary is and young.
Mm-hmm.
But it would just be tremendous value for them to get him there. But I said that I wouldn't be shocked if he wasn't a first round pick tonight. And I told him that I had heard a couple days ago from various people that teams are legitimately concerned that he needs a second surgery. But as we're talking about that, it's hilarious. The Tennessee Titans have just picked cornerback Caleb Farley.
There you go. See, I was telling him I thought Newsome may actually go before him, and what might happen with him would be like what the Eagles did with Sidney Jones, where they waited to the second round and they were like, this kid has the talent. Can we get him healthy? Obviously, the answer is no, but we'll see what happens with Caleb Farley.
Yeah, I think this is a really risky pick for them.
Oh, wow. Okay. Rich Eisen just used a Barstool reference. That was interesting.
Really?
He said the dude singing looks like PFT commentator. That's hysterical. I guess you lose a Dory Jackson, you go and get Caleb Farley, but what do they have? Are they in a spot where they can let Caleb Farley just sit out and the rest of the season if he needs to get that second back surgery?
I mean, I don't think the Titans are a team that could really afford to basically get nothing out of their first round pick.
Right. I mean, hey, this kid just needs to breathe, and he's better than Isaiah Wilson. So, I mean, the bar is not high right now. The bar is not high.
You know what's crazy? I'm glad you just brought that up because I wasn't even thinking about Caleb Farley. I wasn't even thinking about how bad they blundered picking Isaiah Wilson last year. So this is even more of a risk now. Holy
Right.
shit, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, dude. Isaiah Wilson literally just did not want to play football. Straight up told Miami, like, yeah, I don't think I'm playing. Interesting. They announced him as a defensive back, not a corner.
Hmm.
So we're probably going to hang out to the Pittsburgh pick, and then we'll let y'all watch the draft by yourself. Because
I
actually,
still haven't even ate dinner.
we're at 3 hours right now. We don't have much time left before it ends it for us.
Yeah, I left my house, went right to softball, and then walked in the door and then hopped on.
Yeah,
I forgot to eat.
I could eat right now too. It's been a while.
And I didn't really, dude. I literally spent hours working on the draft content today that came out, and I don't remember eating lunch.
Oh, jeez. The first and only time I ate today was like 3 o'clock. So I'm cool with getting some food after this. This is huge though. If Caleb Farley's back, stops him from playing. Caleb Farley's in his room by himself. Oh, he tested positive for COVID. That sucks. What is this poor bastard, man? Jesus, I feel bad for the kid. You may need a second back surgery that could take you out for the season. You get drafted by a team whose first round pick last year just wanted the signing bonus.
Mm-hmm.
And now you get COVID. Oh my God. He sat out the whole season last year to avoid getting COVID. Dude, that's awful. I feel for this dude, man. Jesus. Minnesota, I'm interested by this pick. I'm interested to see what happens here. Adam Thielen's getting up there in age. You did just get Justin Jefferson. Do you go back to back wide receivers? Maybe they didn't think Bateman was going to be here.
I think it has to be Tucker or Darisaw, or Jenkins and Darisaw. I'm sorry, not Tucker.
They do have a really bad
line is really bad. But I mean, shit, their defensive line is really bad too. They could go Quincy Roche here or somebody like that.
Barrymore still on the board?
They also took Gladney last year in the draft, and his career might be over after his domestic dispute that he had this offseason.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
They could go Newsome here.
He might actually go to jail.
Yeah. This is going to be interesting.
So they just showed the. I thought this was funny. Just funny story, real quick. They just shared the like a Steve Sable commercial, the guy who like created NFL films and all that. Their headquarters is in Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
and my dad, the company my dad worked for at the time, had the contract, and my dad was working in Sable's office while he was in there, and they ordered food, and the company ordered food, and they just asked Steve like, "Yo, you want anything? We're ordering." They're working in his office at the time, and he's like, "Yeah, get me, whatever." And then when it was time to pick it up, my my dad jokingly said to him, like, "Oh, can I take your Corvette to pick it up?" Like as a joke. And Steve Sable grabbed the keys and threw them over his desk. And my dad drove his Corvette to go pick up pizzas.
Wow.
Yeah. And at the time, I don't know what year it was, but at the time it was like state of the art, brand new white with red leather. He said it was the coolest thing he's ever drove. It was stick, which thankfully my dad knew how to drive, so he didn't blow up Steve Sable's car.
The Vikings are taking Darisaw.
Yeah.
It's a guy that I actually had them mocked taken earlier, so they traded back and still got him.
So you had them getting him at 15 or 14, whatever they
14,
were?
yeah.
Huh. A little surprised Tevin Jenkins is still there.
Yeah, I had him mocked to the Raiders. I wasn't expecting Leatherwood.
The thing is, though, oh my God, this I don't know if you're watching NFL Network. They're showing a side by side of Tom Brady and Mac Jones with their beard bellies. Wow, they could have 6 first-round draft picks. Alabama.
Yeah. Leatherwood was a guy that I did not see going in the first round.
Me
Are the
either.
Steelers on the clock now? Yeah, they are. This is going to be interesting to see because I'm adamantly against taking a running back early. But I feel like, and he's not even my number one ranked running back. But I think Najee Harris makes too much sense here.
Absolutely. I think we talked about it before. The James Conner experiment failed. You have McFarland and Benny Snell as your quick, young, fast running backs, but Pittsburgh has always succeeded with the heavier back. I mean, you don't even have to go that far. They tried with James Conner, who's a bigger back. Willie Parker was a bigger back. Deuce Staley was a bigger back. Jerome Bettis was a bigger back. The last running back they had that wasn't as big was Mendenhall, who did well. But Najee Harris just screams Pittsburgh Steeler. He fits this offense, and you got to get the ball out of.
Steelers have drafted Najee Harris.
There you go, and you have to get the ball out of Ben's hands, man. You have to have a running game. Can't let old ass Ben throw the ball 400 times a game anymore. The fact that we know that the Steelers are taking a running back already means like he was number one on their board. Like they were just waiting for this.
Mm-hmm.
And these Browns fans are just giving it to the Steelers right now.
Probably the first time since they've been alive that they can do that. You know what's crazy? I saw because we keep talking about how like that shit crazy. Like the Raiders picks have made us,
Mm-hmm.
but I seen a thing and it said if you're a fan of the Oakland Raiders, you've never been able to post on Facebook or Twitter that your team won a playoff game because they haven't won a playoff game since Facebook or Twitter has been a thing.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy.
That's nuts. It's nuts.
It's either won the playoff game or made the playoffs. It might have actually been made the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think they made the playoffs since they went to the Super Bowl. Which was what, 02?
Yeah, I'm trying to think, was it the same year as the Fumblegate, the Tuck Rule?
Tuck Rule, I think it was. Here we go.
And I just realized I didn't even have my mic over here all night. I guess I've been sounding okay though.
No, yeah, I would have told you.
Yeah, I literally just looked over and was like, wait, I don't even have the mic pulled over all night.
Sound better now, but yeah, it was picking up fine. It's picking up fine. Oh, wow. Draft score, overall 99, athleticism 90, production 99.
I think who has more fantasy value as a rookie? Kyle Pitts or Najee Harris with their fits?
I'd go Kyle Pitts just because I think Matt Ryan has regressed less than Ben has. And the Steelers' offensive line, they lost Pouncey.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? The guard. First round draft pick from a few years ago. Why am I blanking on his name? Hardcore. Well, they lost
Villanueva too.
Yeah. DeCastro can't stay healthy. Yeah. I mean, Najee Harris is going to have to be I know he's got quick feet, but he's going to have to run over some dudes too. I'll go Kyle Pitts. When's the last time Matt Ryan had a solid tight end?
Tony Gonzalez, way back.
Yeah. Especially if Julio gets traded for a second or third. I mean, he just became the number one wide receiver in my eyes. Him, then Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
Jesus. They just made his player comp Franco Harris.
What? That's a little crazy.
Right. No, I like the original comparison. I like the Matt Forte comparison they made in the beginning of the show. I mean, hell, if he turns out like Matt Forte the first 7 years of Matt Forte's career, you got a good running back. And
right.
A hell of a fantasy guy, too. He was always a good running back 3. I had him a couple times.
Oh, that's what I wanted to do. I was curious on how the mock draft has turned out so far that I did earlier.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. I want to see how many you got right. Let's compare them.
I had Trevor Lawrence, obviously. Zach Wilson, obviously. I had Trey Lance. at 3 to the 49ers. I had Kyle Pitts, obviously. Jamar Chase, obviously. Penei Sewell didn't have it. Rashawn Slater didn't have it. Well, he actually ended up going to the Chargers, didn't he?
That he got drafted when I was gone, so I'm not quite sure.
I think Slater ended up going to the Chargers,
So yeah, you can count that.
but I think he went to the Chargers. I would have to look at it. Let me see. Maybe I catch ESPN at the right time, and then when they're replaying the picks.
Yeah, Live NFL Network. They haven't shown like the best available like as much as they used to. They haven't shown previous picks. It's a little weird.
I had the Patriots taking Justin Fields at 8, trading up with the Panthers. That obviously didn't happen. I had the Broncos taking Micah Parsons. That didn't happen. I had the Cowboys taking Surtain. That didn't happen. Giants taking Waddle. Eagles. Oh, wait, hold on. They're running through the picks right now. Let me see.
Yeah, Slater went to the Chargers. Yep, I just saw it.
He did?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get the Patriots, Broncos, Cowboys, Giants, Eagles right. Didn't get the Lions right. The Vikings traded out of the 14th pick, and the Jets moved up and took Elijah Vera Tucker, but I had Elijah Vera Tucker mocked at 14 to the Vikings.
Close enough.
Yeah, right.
Close enough. You didn't know you didn't know that trade was going to happen. Nobody did.
And then I had Barmore to Alabama. To the Cardinals. The Raiders taking Jenkins. I had the Dolphins taking Kwity Paye. But they took Jalen Phillips instead. I got the position right. I had Washington taking Jock out of Notre Dame. They ended up taking Zaven Collins. So again, I got the position right. I had the Bears taking Mac Jones at 20. They traded up and got Fields. The Jets at 23. I had them taking Newsome. I didn't get any of them right. Again, I just had the Dolphins and Colts flip-flop. I had the Dolphins taking Paye, and I had the Colts taking Phillips. If I would have swapped them, I would have got that right. Had the Steelers taking Najee Harris.
Yeah, one of the more easier picks this draft.
Yeah. Then the Jaguars pick is in. I have them taking Trayvon Mowring in my mock right here.
Definitely could be an option. Maybe they take Jock since they just cut Van Noy.
Wow, they take Travis Etienne.
No way.
Yeah.
Sorry, Robinson. That's tough. Poor kid, undrafted, does really good, and they're like, nah.
Yeah, that actually really doesn't make sense.
You had a cheaper option at running back for the next 4 years. Travis Etienne, wow. Despite having a young top running back in James Robinson, take Travis Etienne at 25. Urban Meyer said he'd take the best player available no matter what. Apparently, he stuck to his word.
That's crazy.
Wow.
The over-under prop for running back selected was 1.5 too. So that would have just hit if you were a betting man.
Wow. Ooh, Jamal Charles comparison. That's a good one.
I mean, I'm not going to knock somebody for getting the number one quarterback and the number one running back in a draft,
who already have chemistry together from playing on championship
but
teams.
but their defense is dog shit. They're going to have to ask these two rookies to go out and win games 45-40.
Urban Meyer does not care about defense. Meanwhile, Shad Khan's probably just standing there like, yeah, here's money. Just get whoever you want.
Yeah, I could definitely see Jock here.
I've been saying this for about a week. I mean, him to Cleveland just makes sense.
I didn't think Jock was going to be on the board.
Oh, really? I originally thought he was going to go to Kansas City.
I think Jock is. Where'd I have him? I have Jock as linebacker 2. In this draft, even ahead of my boy Zaven Collins.
Who'd you have at 1?
Parsons.
Oh, how did I forget about him? My bad. It's getting late.
And then I had Jamie and Davis at 4. And then my sleeper, which I'm still holding out hopes that the Eagles can snag in round 3, even though we just traded our 3rd round pick to the Cowboys. We still have bargaining chips, guys like Zach Ertz or maybe a guy like Andre Dillard, where we could pick up additional picks later.
Right.
I need Chaz Surratt and Eagles green.
I know,
that's my dog. That is my dog. I have like one guy every year. It just so happened to be last year. It was the Eagles' 1st round pick. But Nick, you were with me the entire month leading up to the draft. Nobody was banging the table more for Jalen Reagor than me.
100%.
Even before I even thought he was an option for the Eagles. I didn't know where the Eagles were going to be selecting. I fell in love with Jalen Reagor when I watched him play. Chaz Surratt is like my guy this year. J.C. Horn was my guy, but he was too well like known, so I felt like I needed somebody else. So like I really like went back in, and I'm like I gotta find somebody that like people don't value enough.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Chaz Surratt for me. I mean, the guy was North Carolina's starting quarterback as a freshman. Like, wasn't just a quarterback on the roster; he was a starting quarterback. And then switched to linebacker and had 121 tackles last season. And like I said, he's super raw. He just switched there a couple of years ago. The Browns are actually taking Greg Newsome.
Pair up with Denzel Ward. Nice.
But and they got Grant Delpit at safety. They got a nice young secondary, but damn, I mean that run defense is atrocious. But Chaz Surratt is my guy this year. That's going to be one guy that I follow.
I got 2 this year that I like
for his career.
I like Dwayne Eskridge from UCF. He could be, dude. He could literally running back, quarterback.
See, my receiver this year that I like really like that I think was like undervalued is I'm a huge fan of Damani Brown, but he kind of started gaining traction as the draft got closer. So I don't know how much of a sleeper he's going to be anymore, but I think Josh Immature baby out of and I'm not 100% sure how to actually pronounce his name. I actually was like going through the list of just like receivers for this draft when I started reviewing tape. And I was just like wanted to set a list. I normally go by conference. So like when I got to the Big Ten, I was like, all right, obviously we have Olave out of Ohio State. We have a couple of Penn State guys. And then from there, though, I'm like, we have Bateman from Minnesota. who else? Like, I don't know. I really am not crazy about any of the Indiana guys. Iowa has a guy who, but I couldn't really watch film on him from this season. He was actually dismissed from the team in Smith Marset. But I'm decently high on him. I have him ranked 12th, Amir Smith Marset. But he has some stuff off the field that he has to work on. But then I found, and before I even watched him play, because I didn't watch a lick of Illinois football this year.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
To be honest, like I watch a lot of college football. Like, I'm the guy up watching Pac-12 after dark at 1:30 in the morning here. I don't have a social life. I live and breathe football and sports. But it's what I take pride in. But I just was looking at the roster and I was like, immature baby. And I literally, like, in my head, like, the immature myself was like, do you consider, I could picture like him in like a GN meeting in here and they're like, well, what do you think? Like, are you childish? Do you think you need like growth, like blah, 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 some building? And he's just like, no, I'm mature, baby. And I was just like, and I started saying that so much that like I can't even pronounce his name right anymore. Like, but I think he is a guy who struggled with poor QB play, but he's an absolute weirdo. Like, with his size and like the stuff he can do, like, it's freaky. And I'm excited for him to hopefully go to a team that can get the best out of him.
Yeah.
But Dwayne Eskridge is in my top 20.
Yeah, Dwayne Eskridge, man. He's like that Adrian Killings kid from that the Eagles took.
Yeah.
But like for real, like not the poor man's version. And I follow this guy on Instagram who was obsessed with him. So I'm like, all right, he keeps bringing him up. I got to look him up. And finally I looked him up and I was like, oh, okay, I get the excitement. He is literally the definition of a utility knife. You could line him up at any spot on the offense, and he'd make a play. And then I also like Nick Bolton from Missouri, linebacker.
Nick Bolton is my linebacker 6.
He's not good at the run. That's his only problem.
I have him sandwiched between Baron Browning out of Ohio State at 5 and then Jabril Cox from LSU at 7.
And then if I'm thinking, there's another one too that I liked, and now his name's just blanking on me. Damn. Hardcore blanking on me. It'll come to me eventually.
My guy for like a secondary guy is Israel Mukamamu. The guy is, like I said, weirdo. Let me get you his exact memorals because I'm going to undersell it.
Oh, I just thought of something.
Israel Mukamamu. He is 6'4", 205-pound corner.
Damn.
I have him as my cornerback 8 in this draft. Still kind of raw from a cornerback perspective, but you want to talk about a big bully guy?
Yeah.
That's a guy. I'm a fan of his. That draft. I'm in a couple Madden leagues where like you finish the season and then you draft, and you they like automate the draft classes to like actually be like the guys that are coming out. I target Mukamamu in the second round every draft, no matter what pick I am.
Really?
Just because he's that freaky. I don't think he's going to go in the second round of this real life draft that's happening this weekend, but I like him. It's weird. A team as bad as South Carolina, I have 2 of their corners. I think they gave up about 175 points to Alabama, but I have J.C. Horn and Mukamamu in my top 8.
I just realized something that I'm pretty excited about, that there's a really great possibility Asante Samuel Jr. could get drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Who I'm high on. I would put him behind Newsome, who just went.
Asante Jam, let me look at it. He is, yep. I have him right behind Newsome is cornerback 5.
Yeah,
But I
5
think Asante Samuel actually has. I think Caleb Farley has the best ball skills of the corners in this draft. But I think Asante Samuel Jr. would be number 2 behind him for this draft class. But I have him. He's a little undersized. And then I had Newsome ranked ahead of him because I think Newsome is the most scheme versatile guy in this draft. I think you could put him in any defense and you're going to get the same player.
Right.
But no, I'm with you. I really wanted J.C. Horn at 12,
Yeah,
and then maybe like Terrence Marshall Jr. To come back at 37 or trade back up into the first and get Bateman. But I would totally be okay with Smith at 12 and then Asante Samuel Jr. at pick 37.
Yeah, I would say Asante Samuel's probably the junior's probably the 5th best in this, but 5th or 4th because I'm like
the Eagles will have a need at safety too. I mean, Rodney McLeod's not getting any younger. They obviously lost Jalen Mills, and we just watched. Not a single safety has been taken yet. You still got Mooring. You still have Javon Holland from Oregon still out there. It's going to be interesting to see how many of these guys are still available tomorrow.
Yeah, I like Cisco.
Cisco's actually my safety 3.
I like Cisco a lot. I think he's going to be a good player.
The Ravens pick is in. Is it Elijah Moore? Who is this that they're showing? I'm watching ESPN. Rashad Bateman is on the screen, and somebody behind him is wearing a Carson Wentz jersey with an Eagles hat.
Interesting.
Do they know something we don't know? Are the Eagles trading up?
Oh, my God.
The Ravens select. I have it on mute, so I can't see till they put the graphic up. Rashad Bateman.
Wow. Good for Bateman. He deserved to go in the first round.
Did he stop the stream?
What's that?
Did he stop the stream?
What do you mean? Who's Zach?
Yeah.
No, we're still going.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still going. But if he doesn't come back, I'm going to have to hopefully be able to log in and end it.
Yeah, because I think I'm going to dip off now. Eat a snack and then get ready for the draft tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm upset, man. I start work at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Second round starts at 7 p.m. I'm not going to get home till midnight. So I'm going to need you or Zach to be texting me who the Eagles pick.
Yeah, I'm going to have softball again, but I had it on in the dugout while I was playing, so I'll probably make sure I do that again. And then Saturday, I'm just going to – I just realized Saturday I have a softball tournament. So this is a shitty weekend. I got to plan better. But I'll make sure I have everything up to date, my notifications on.
Yeah, same for sure.
But thank everybody for tuning in. Nick and Zach holding it down in the early session. I came in out of the bullpen and gave up a couple hits.
You filled in for me. I came back. Then you filled in for Zach.
He got re-entered.
Oh, man.
But yeah, thanks you guys for tuning in. If you're still here, shout out to Zach, shout out to Nick, and we're gonna watch the rest of this draft and get ready for round 2 tomorrow.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.